Hello, I'm over here now. I'm over here on this one now. Yes. We're over here now, baby. We're doing it. Now I gotta invite Mary Lou and Vic again. So we can have 2 separate video on demands for people who aren't watching live. Oh, hi everyone. It is Dark Pal time. Welcome. The Ways dropped you here. Welcome here. This is a Rand appreciation stream. This is Dark Pal time. Dark Pal Central, baby. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, God. Spoilers in chat remain okay. Vic will not see the chat. We will see what Vic thinks of the love triangle because the Dark Pal, they come, they come. Sarah occasionally dropping into her radio show voice. Welcome back. We are going live with Vic Michaelis to see what they think about episode 7 of The Wheel of Time. This is the first Vic lore stream that Oxalot Alonso has seen live. Well, congratulations. You have made it. You have made it. New invite in Gmail. New stream. They come. Come, my friends. Okay. Hello, friends of the dark. My phone is telling me to take pills, so I will take a pill. First live one for Joe Berlin. Thank you so much. You ever just kick yourself out of your own stream on accident?
Literally have done that never. Hi, Nicholas.
Hello, man. Before you come onto the show, it gives this little warning that's like, decent lighting will make you look amazing. And I was like, StreamYard, I don't know how to tell you this. I think I need a little bit more than simple lighting.
Well, okay, Vic,
it's beginning to look a lot like Vicmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like Vicmas. So, I've had a very interesting morning. So I'm just going to keep you up to date. And then also I have new information for people who were here the whole time. So first of all, got my booster last night. I'm feeling boosterific. I did take 5 minutes off the stream to go barf, and then I came back and everything's fine.
Great.
Then got a loud and terrifying knock on my door, which was a few SWAT officers telling me that there were men with guns in
them
them no other men with guns, ones that they were worried about, in my apartment's garages, and that I either needed to shelter in place and I was not allowed to leave until they told me all was clear, or I needed to leave immediately and I would not be allowed to return until everything was clear. Decided to shelter in place. So I sheltered in place on the stream. It was scary. And then like an hour later, maybe you guys, maybe a little less, they came terrifying knocking on my door again to be like,
are we talking like bang, bang, bang?
Yeah. Like absolutely terrifying.
Like we heard it on stream.
Why? Because my question is, they've already let you know that maybe there's like something going down. So why are we choosing to?
And I had closed my blinds because, like, you close your blinds when you're sheltering in place, you know.
Sure. Tornado rules.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, I knew it didn't really help, but like it made me feel better. But then I heard this terrifying knocking on, like, pounding on my door, and my blinds were closed, so I couldn't see who was there. And I was like, "Am I opening the door to a gunman?" But I did open the door because I'm an idiot. Anyway, yes, Vic, we have a very important question for you.
Oh, yeah. They, them, she, her, fine. I'm really not too picky. Just call me Vic.
Love it. And so they, what did they say? They were like, oh yeah, it's all clear. We got him. Everything's over. They were in your garages. Everything is taken care of. Okay, so right now, this is the new information. I was just on my break making some avocado toast. Hope I don't barf it. And I heard my neighbor coming home, my next door neighbor. And so I opened my door and I was like, hey, did you hear what just happened? And he was like, okay, listen, you have no idea how crazy it actually was. And I was like, what do you mean? Was it your garage? And he was like, yeah, it was my garage. And my girlfriend was in there working out when they came into the garage. She was like working out on a stationary bicycle in her garage because they're separate from our units. They're like on the street, and our apartment is like farther back. And she was working out, so she had kept the garage like up a crack. And when they like dispersed, so what happened was they were all in a car casing robberies, and they got pulled over. And when they got discovered to have all these guns and stuff, they split. They all like scattered and ran. And these two guys found my neighbor's garage, threw it open, and went inside. And I was like, did they hold her hostage? And he was like, not really. They were just trying to convince her to say that they had been working out with her the whole time. And so they were in there with her for like an hour. And I don't know what happened after that. I guess just like on the elliptical, I guess. But yeah. And then he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I have to get inside. I have to pee. Like, I've been talking to the police for hours. And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Yeah. So I let him go. But holy shit, guys.
I can't even imagine. She's going to be traumatized for the rest of her life.
For the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But she's okay and everything.
She's okay. She's still talking to the police. But he'd been talking to them for hours. She's still there, right? She was like literally in like a very chill hostage situation. No hostage situation is chill, but like, holy shit, right? Like that is insane.
Were either of you two churchy? Did either of you two
I was
like
incredibly churchy.
Okay, yes. So you probably heard this story. She was really big on the circuit of like she'd go to all the churches and talk. She was the one with the purpose-driven life who was like,
yes,
there was an intruder in my house, and I read him the purpose-driven life, and then he converted to Christianity, and now like we're best friends. I don't know why that made me think of that, but it did. This episode was amazing, I gotta say.
Right? Okay, now let's talk about the fun thing. What did you think?
I thought that this episode it tied in so many things. There were so many things I loved about it, and so many things that I was like, yeah, of course. No, duh. Like, yes, I know. I said. And it made me feel like perhaps all of my predictions are 1000% correct.
Well, honestly, some of them are amazing.
Okay, so that's how I feel. I feel like I now have this unbridled confidence that I have not earned.
Okay, I love that, and I can't wait to talk about it. Let's go frame by frame. Cold open, bloody snow. This Aiel woman kicking ass while giving birth.
Loved it. Loved everything about it. Immediately, I was like,
"Did you hear that noise?"
No.
Mm-mm.
Was it a donation noise? But I did see Lan, and I thought that was cool. Do you want us to make a noise? We can make a noise when a donation comes in.
No. I'm just. You know, I don't need to be messing with this right now. We don't need.
Honestly, Vic, I think you can join me in Gloat Aja, because I've also been gloating all day today because I predicted something so hardcore. Like I predicted it down to like the very shots and like how it would be broken up, and I feel so fucking proud of myself. So I'm with you there. Please join me in Gloat Aja.
I would love to. How do I do that?
You go to rename. So on your little, like the bottom left of your window, there should be a little preview of you and then 3 dots in the top right corner of that preview. Click that and then edit name.
There we go. I have surpassed my 50 character limit.
It's beginning to look a lot like Vicmas.
That's good enough. It's beginning to look a lot like Vicmas. Gloat Aja.
We don't need any more than that.
No, that's perfect. That gets the point across.
I think I need a couple more characters. First scene, right out the gate. Oh, God, I love it. My favorite shot of the show so far. I love this. I love this person so much. It's not even funny, and immediately made me go, well, Rand's not so bad, because you could tell right away this has got to be a parent of Rand. And then as soon as I saw the guy over her, I was like, oh, I think that is Rand's papa, who we have seen.
So you knew that. You saw that
right away. I was like, it's got to be. But I didn't realize this until later. It's because we see, and now I understand, bird sword. Now we see the bird on his sword. I didn't even see that and realize it until later. But I was just like, it's got to be. You know, she just got freaking.
Did. So what made you think? So you saw Tigraine and you instantly knew this woman is Rand's mother. Why?
Because we've set up really hard off the gate that this that he's Olay, and so it's like he's Olay. He's Olay. And so we're like, we know that right off the bat. The red hair, they made such a big deal about being like redheads. They're all Olays. And so I was like, okay, this is for sure it. And also just like, look at her. I was like, look at her. Oh, and immediately I was just like, oh no, I'm going to love Rand. I'm going to love Rand at the end of this episode because I love her so much. And so that was like the gift that she gave her son, is that I now love him because
a mother's protection.
Rand is an Olayman.
A mother's gift.
Yeah, she's kind of a badass, flying through the air, full pregnant, in labor, being the most badass.
This shot just
Isn't it so good?
Oh, incredible. And then she just like rips it off and gets freaking stabbed in the ribs and is like, no way. I thought was too like such a good example of just being like, oh, we've been talking about these Olays for so long. We're going to show you like what they can do in like their most compromised state, which is like, how do you get more distracted and compromised than this situation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job with that.
As Alicia points out, she is a maiden of the spear.
Oh, welcome. Yes. Okay, great. Fantastic. And so
she is a spear maiden. Yeah, they have like clans, and there's a clan of female warriors, and they're called maidens of the spear. So she is a maiden of the spear.
And I should have picked that up because she's literally using
well, okay.
Spears.
Yep. She's literally using spears.
Quite literally using spears.
Quite literally. Yes. And the Olay are insane warriors. So like that is entirely accurate. I'm glad that you got that impression. That,
but also the only other thing I'll say is like they had said on several occasions too, or not several occasions, but Glee was like, if they got their little masks up, don't even think about it. You're dead already. Doesn't even matter. Take a seat. But if they got their masks down, it's fine. So I'm wondering if because her like mask and her headdress is off, that Rand's papa is looking at her and is like, oh, like not a threat in this situation.
And that might be a part of it. Yeah, absolutely. In the books, should we say in the books, she like helps save his life at one moment?
Doesn't she remember that?
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Maybe. I like that.
Yeah. We don't really like see. It might be true. I just don't remember it.
I might be having
Vic is more than an honorary spear maiden. Vic is a maiden of the spear.
That's correct. Absolutely, Hundo P. As is Zach, in my opinion. I think Zach is also a maiden of the spear. Definitely.
Yeah.
As is Jasmine. Yeah. Definitely.
I was doing a thing with Zach the other day, and we were both just like talking about how much fun we have doing these.
Yay!
It's a blast. Sorry.
Guess who I was talking to yesterday who asked me if they should watch the show. And I was like, yes, absolutely. Also, do you want to come on our stream eventually? And they were like, I'd love to. Chris Grace. How fun would it be to have Chris Grace be a non-book reader as well?
That would be great.
Another friend of ours who's an excellent comedian. So super fun. The community grows.
The community grows. Person by person.
Person by person.
It spreads.
So
we're multiplying.
After this flashback, where do we end up next?
The ways.
We end up. Boom.
Right. Okay. So here's something where I am curious how this diverges from the book. Also, too, right off the bat, we get in here and they're just like, Matt's not the dragon. It's not Matt. there's just like, oh, okay. But they're just like, it's not him, couldn't be him, and it's not him. So don't even worry about it. And it was just sort of like, how interesting that like, because they had to, I guess, like, we don't know exactly what happened with this character, but because they had to replace this character, they're just like, honestly, don't even worry about it. It's not him. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Maureen does she does say, if it is him, we can't have him within 100 leagues of the Dark One. So I'm glad he didn't come, you know?
Right, but then later on, she's like, all of you are tempted by the shadow. And it's like, well, if that's how you feel, let's not get it. Yeah. Maybe it's not. Maybe let's wait. Maybe let's hang out. Let's do some training. Let's get a training montage.
They don't do training montages. Well, they do, but it's a special kind of training montage, which we'll see at the end. But yeah, no waiting for Maureen. She walks into the ways. She's ready to roll.
Yeah. So my question, I'm curious how this differs from the book, because they make a big deal about being like, oh, we need to read this. L'Oreal's like, I need to read this stone. The stone is going to tell us where to go. But it's just a one-way path. It's literally, it's just a little road, and there's nowhere else. How are you going to get lost?
We said the exact same thing.
The way, this is like a budget issue and a soundstage issue. The ways in the books are, could you hear that?
No.
No, are you sure you don't want us to do a sound effect?
Do a sound, please, Vic.
Kerchow. That is from Lightning
thank
McQueen
you so much,
and from Cars. If you want a specific sound, let us know. But
I like that one.
Thank you so much.
In the books, the ways are this sort of like MC Escher style, like impossible visual paradox, where they will walk and they're like, I swear we were only walking in a straight line, but I can see the path we were just on below us, and now it's above us, and it's like,
they'll go down a spiral staircase and then they'll go back up again, but they like should have hit it, but they don't. And there's like islands that have different branching paths like all the time.
Okay, I understand now, because I
said the exact same thing as you. I was like, it looks like it's just like a one-way street. So what are they talking about? You just walk forward. Like, what do you mean?
I also think that like you only need a one-way path to do that. All you need to do is like do like the ribbon on a tree trick, where it's like you put a little something on there to be like, this is to Kerchow. Should I do a different one?
Yeah, different one.
Okay,
you can do whatever you want.
A whole new world.
Yep. Good one.
Beautiful.
That is a really good sound.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was really good. I'm a professional singer. That was really good.
That was really good.
So much from the Satin Dolls. Okay. Anyways, but I feel like all they had to do is be like, I dropped my shoe or whatever, and then be like, we can't go back for it, and then like them like loop around and then be like, the shoe we just walked past. How is that possible? And then being like, time works differently here, and the path works differently here, and then you literally would only have to use the exact same path where you just like go back and reset. Is that crazy? And then I feel like we would have got that idea.
I think they could have done more, but
there's plenty that they could have done and didn't. Fat Boy's here. You see, everybody see Fat Boy. Hi, Fat Boy.
Perrin's like, there's something up there, and it's a rock.
Oh yeah. Wait, is this? Oh right. And then we get that something has torn it asunder, and we're like, what is it? I'm also curious what it is, because I don't think Trolloc nails are cutting through freaking stone like that. Are they?
I don't know.
There's no way. I don't buy it for a second.
They're very concerned.
Very concerned. We get a little cuddle, and everybody's happy. I was so confused as to like the whole Perrin dynamic within this episode. I felt like just appeared this episode, and I was like, listen, this show is so horny. Everybody is having sex all the time, or they're not, and that's fine.
Everybody's having sex off screen all the time.
It's such a horny show. Literally the only relationship where I was like, what? Those two was, and I love them both, but Perrin and Egwene? What? From where? When?
I didn't say this in our last stream, but I agree with you. Why didn't we see even a hint of this with them with the Tuatha on?
They were literally with them for a month, we learned.
I didn't see a single hint of it.
We, Vic, the honest truth is, we also don't know where this came from.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I
not,
see.
that is not something we know about.
Okay, so this is an invention for the show. And it
Correct.
really does feel like maybe there was supposed to be a Matt storyline somewhere in here that then we had to rethink of something new. And so then it ended up, because it feels like the kind of thing that there was like maybe something that was supposed to happen with that. And so then we needed to replace it with something. And so we ended up with this. I don't know that. But that's my prediction, and my prediction
Highly
is 100%
possible.
accurate so far. So
Highly possible.
that's what I think. Yeah, then we get a Perrin who's
Perrin's giving you a little thumbs up on that.
he likes that. I love that. Thank you, Perrin. Wait, but then before this, don't we see Padme?
We do see Padme. We hear the whistling.
We do. We hear the whistling. It wakes them up, and then they see Padme.
And then they see Padme, and Padme is like just kind of standing there. What a creep. What a little
creep, right?
creep. Just watching them sleep. And I'm like, who is this? Could he have broken the stone? It seems like because they also said that you need to be powerful to get in and out of there, right?
They did say that.
I did say that.
So who is this guy?
Don't know. Well,
Yeah,
we do.
We're learning. And then we see this Trolloc jumps down.
Not a
Good old-
Trolloc.
Not a Trolloc.
This
Not
is
my
not
Trolloc.
a Trolloc. This is absolutely
Not a
not a
Trolloc.
Trolloc. This is slander. This is absolute slander that people are trying to. This is not a Trolloc.
This is just
Look at
bad
the face.
press.
Yes, the face looks absolutely nothing like any Trolloc we have seen before. I do not believe that this is a Trolloc. This is somebody trying to look like a Trolloc or some sort of like maybe like a shadow Trolloc or something like that. But this is
I
not
thought it
our,
looked like a zombie Trolloc.
so this is not a run-of-the-mill Trolloc. Absolutely.
Maybe.
And I refuse to believe it. And I think that this is somebody that's trying to pin it on.
So we're going to get a
Pin it on
Trolloc
Trollocs.
redemption arc still.
Is that how you
Yeah,
spell Trolloc?
Yeah, it is.
Trolloc.
Give
Yeah.
me 1 sec.
We get a little channel animal.
Channel animal.
Vic's not Trolloc goes blasty wasty off the side and falls into an eternal void.
Yeah, and at this point I'll say at this point right now in the show, I'm so freaking peeved at Egwene. I'm like, dude, you literally were given
had one job,
thing. Literally one thing was don't do magic. And it to me now makes me so mad that she ever thought that she was like the cool one, like the one that was like the powerful one. I'm just like, Egwene, literally, what are we doing right now? You doomed us all. At this point, this is what I'm thinking. I'm upset with her. And then I'm just sort of like, maybe, and I feel bad for saying this, but I'm like, maybe Rand maybe he's going to be okay. Maybe he's going to be okay on his own. I was mad at this situation. I'm like, just go train. Go train.
Mm-hmm.
No. This is not hate.
It's frustration out of love.
It's frustration out of love. Thank you, Mary Lou. It's frustration out of love. Because I really like Egwene, but I'm so frustrated with her right now. Figure it out.
I understand.
Like, just do a little soul searching. Don't be jumping from one place to the next. You're no better than a warder. Literally, figure out what's going on with you. And then let's jump into something.
Feels like she could really benefit from like a meditative practice, you know?
Something. Absolutely something. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so somebody channels and that's like a neon sign for big scary swarm.
You know the
What's its name
of this?
It's the Night Bees.
The Night Bees.
Sure. The Night Bees. Yeah. They're attacked by the Night Bees.
They're literally buzzing. They're like buzzing around.
They are buzzing.
No, the bee wind.
The bee wind.
That's right.
The bee wind. Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyways.
You're actually right. It is the bee wind. Yeah.
The bee wind is like coming all around them and is like, and then is just like whispering things to them. Be like, your haircut's bad. Like, like stuff like that. They're just like.
What would the bee wind say to you?
It'd
be
like
you were in the ways.
It would be like, and then it would probably say something like, you're the third funniest person on stage anytime you perform.
That's the saddest thing.
Like you're the
It's
third.
not
funniest.
true.
You'll never be the first. You'll never be the first or second, but you'll be the third in every show you do. So no matter what, you could just like mediocrity,
Aw,
and just over and over and over again.
Mine would tell me
very sad. Well, Vic, you're the funniest person on our stream every time.
that is by
No,
far.
not
yeah,
true.
You're
Not
definitely
true.
the first.
I'm the
funniest
third
on this
funniest
stream.
person on the stream.
Not even close.
It's true, and I'm happy to be on this stream. Honestly, sorry, Mary Lou. What would yours say?
My B-Wind would say, "Psst, psst, 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 you're a bad cat mom, and your cats are unhealthy, and they hate you, and
No.
you're a bad cat mom. You're a bad cat mom." And
Hey,
that's
thank
what
you
mine
for
would
the
say. That is
comment.
like one of my biggest insecurities is that I'm a bad cat mom.
Oh, that's absolutely
Mm.
more than fair.
I love them so much.
Yeah.
And I think your cat's
my
super good.
B-Wind,
Thank you.
I mean, if we're getting real, my B-Wind would probably say something like, you spend way too much time making dumb shit about the Wheel of Time and playing video games, and you should be using all of your time doing your best to be a good law student and become a good lawyer so that you can actually help people who need help in the future, because
Boo!
All right,
Yeah,
that's
and
it.
then-
That's what it tells me.
And,
And
that's
then
how we know
my-
the B-Wind is wrong.
My B-Wind would hear that and be like, wait, hold on, are you serious? This is unbelievable. Like my B-Wind would come to your
Yeah, my
defense
B-Wind
because
would be
my
like-
B-Wind would be like, that's too much.
Definitely.
But
Don't listen to the B-Wind.
okay, but I actually
Okay.
think that the B-Wind is speaking truth. I think that the B-Wind is actually correct. I actually think the B-Wind is correct. Not for us, obviously. B-Wind is wrong for us, but
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
At first
sure,
I was like,
absolutely. Note taken. But I do think that I do genuinely am wondering, is the B-Wind correct? Like, is it like speaking to like potential truths? You know, it's that kind of thing of like our fears come from somewhere within us, something that we've recognized within ourselves, or something that somebody has maybe said to us at some point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that they come from nowhere. So I wonder if
Yeah.
the B-Wind is like pointing that out as something that is like a potential
yeah, I
truth.
think it's definitely finding like the deepest insecurity that might actually like have something to it, the one that hurts the most, which this is an invention of the show. That is not what
the
the
B-Wind
Wind
is
is like.
part of the
No. The B-Wind is a part of it, but this
It
sort
is.
of like personalized psychological torture is an invention of the show, and I'm obsessed with it. I think it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's like very like Mockingjays in Hunger Games, where they're
Yeah.
like screaming. It reminded me of that a little bit. But then we get this freaking cool part where my hero, Nynaeve, makes a freaking fortress of magic
Mm-hmm.
to save the day from everybody from the B-Wind, and is just like, not my friends, and like creates this bubble. There we go, this bubble of magic. B-Wind cannot penetrate, and that's how we know she is freaking powerful.
Yeah, she's really strong.
So strong, and it's strong. It gives enough time for like Rosamund Pike to like do this like weird backbend thing back forward in order
loved
to
that.
it was so
Yes.
cool in order to open the gate. Is this the gate they meant to
Um,
get out of?
Vic, before we move on, let me tell you what the B-Wind actually says in the books that they hear.
Please.
Yeah. It says, flesh so fine to tear, to gash the skin to strip, to plate, so nice to plate the strips, so nice, so red the drops that fall, blood so red, so sweet, sweet screams, pretty screams, singing screams, scream your song, sing your screams.
The
That's the
B-Wind,
Wind.
B-Wind actually says
You-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you recognize that?
Is that a song? It sounds familiar. Is that not a song?
It's not a song. That is what we had you read last week
Oh,
on stream.
I said that one time,
That
so
was your
that's why I
cold reading.
recognize it.
Is that
Of
a
course.
song I know? I feel like I know this song.
I was like, I feel like that's a song.
I feel like I know this song and I don't like it.
I do recognize it because I did read it last week. So a mere 7 days ago, that came out of my mouth, which is why I recognize it.
True.
It's such a freaking good song. Rock
Love that song.
on.
That's my jam. That's my jam.
Yes.
Mary Lou and
Fantastic.
Sarah, I think you guys should record it.
Oh, that's
The
I
a
would
good
love to
idea.
hear you guys record it in sort of like a
Oh my God!
folky
Can we
country.
make it like a pop anthem, Sarah?
Rage
That would
Against
be
the
Yeah.
so
Machine
fun.
Shin.
Rage
Let's bring out
Against the
your joke,
Machine
Mary
Shin.
Lou.
Yes, the best joke I ever told.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, Nynaeva's super powerful. Maureen does her amazing ballet back bend.
Opens the portal, and then we are out. Is this the portal they meant to go out of? Is my
No.
question. Couldn't have been, right? Because they were like, we are a day away from where we need to go, and then all of a sudden they're like 2 minutes and we're out. But they also said that time works weirdly, so I'm like, could it
Time
just
does
be that-
work weird in the ways.
Right. And then also, am I crazy? Is this like a like L'Oreal all I can think of is Shrek.
Yeah.
L'Oreal, the Ogier.
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 So this is like the Ogier's way of passage. This is like the Ogier are the ones that like use
That's right.
this.
That's correct.
Yes.
Historically, that's correct.
Okay, well, how did it get taken away from them?
It is a story that they didn't tell you. So
Correct.
Great.
if I can tell you if it turns out that they put out like an origins explainer video about this, which to me indicates they're not going to get into it in the show, then I'm happy to tell you why.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. I would love that because
It was in the
very
trivia.
curious.
It was in the trivia, the X-ray trivia. If you
Yeah.
paused during that moment, they talked about the
Vic,
ways.
We have so much space to fill when the season ends, and we obviously want to keep streaming with you if we can. So
Yeah.
there will be lots of time for teaching Vic about the world of the Wheel of Time.
The lore.
The lore.
Lore
Okay.
lessons.
Fantastic.
Rage Against the Machine Shin is perfection, and it is Mary Lou's joke that she texted me
Oh.
months ago and was like, "I have a joke," and so
The
yes.
best joke I've ever told.
That's really fantastic. What is
Thank
the
you.
machine shin?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, is this important?
No, it's a
Okay.
joke. It's a Rage Against the Machine joke. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
But I know it references something, and now I'm like, did I miss the reference?
No,
It
you
is.
didn't.
No.
Okay. All right. So we get out of the gates. We're all just sort of like, oh, and
Sorry.
we do this thing that is my least favorite actor thing, just from like the performance side, which is where we let a solitary tear stay on our face. It drives me crazy every single time because literally it is something that only happens in acting or
Correct.
in real life if people want you to see them crying. You know what I
Correct.
mean? Like, or if like your hands are full.
Every single acting teacher has told me never, ever wipe your tears. Always leave your tears on your
it's like you want them on the camera, and I get it.
You
but
want
it
them on the
drives
camera.
me
And I think it's
freaking
insane. Yes, that's not what people do. People wipe their tears.
No, yes, and it's just like anytime I see that, I'm just like, go like this. That is such a stronger acting moment because that feels to me real. Where that's
I
like,
agree.
oh yeah, it's like you're trying
Yeah.
to hide it in. You don't want people to see because that's how it is, especially with a character like Rand,
Yeah.
who's been
That's true.
to this point so stoic and like.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it just like felt very much like the director was like, okay, you're going to cry. And then maybe he did a take where he did something like that. And they're like, just leave it. And then
Just leave
he's
it.
like, I don't feel like I do that. And then they're like, just leave it. We'll do one take like this. Then if you don't like it, it's fine. We'll do it another way. But like, we just want one take like this. And then of
Yep.
course,
We just need
that's
the
the take
take.
that they ended up using. We just need the take.
Yeah.
But it drives me.
I'm with
Crazy.
you. I'm with you, Vic.
Thank you.
So
I appreciate
we get our
that.
first glance of this kind of fortress city. Do you remember the name of it?
Oh, yes, I do. Fedra?
Fedra.
That's right.
Fedara?
Fedara is closer.
It's actually Fedara, yeah.
Fedora? No, it's not
You can
Fedora.
call it Fedora if that'll help you remember it.
I mean, Fedora, yeah.
Fedora.
the people would love that.
Fedora.
Fedora's pretty
Fedora.
close to Fedora.
Go put on your fedora. Charlie, we're leaving.
Ask your doctor about Fedra.
Ask your doctor if Fedra could be right for you.
And it might be, so you got to check. It does cause death in most cases, so it's tough. It's a tough one. But you should
Wow,
try
y'all
it.
are getting called out by Axelot Alonso, who seems to be suggesting that if you're watching right now, you should like and subscribe and comment.
That's what it seems that like they're suggesting, and I don't know. I would listen to him.
Okay, and here's what I take offense at. nobody's a dark pal here is what I sort of want to say about it. I think that everybody sort of has like ideas on what is good and what is bad. And I think we really need to explore that. But also, like and subscribe.
I think it'd be a really good idea.
Honestly, why wouldn't you?
Liked and subscribed.
Drop down every reason why you wouldn't want to like and subscribe so we can read it and analyze it later.
Mm-hmm. For science.
Ooh, we got a donation. Marissa, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marissa.
$666.
The number of the dark pals.
The $1,200 we've already raised, so we're rapidly approaching $2,000.
Can you believe it?
And
oh my
y'all
god!
remember Vic made a pledge last week. Vic, do you remember what your pledge was?
I have no idea what my pledge was. Like I said, things happen, and I say them, and they happen, and then they go out of my brain.
They're just gone
immediately, and they're gone.
I love that. I love it.
Okay, Vic, your pledge was that if we raised $1,000. You would do a long rom-com style confession of love for Randall Thor.
Okay. It's getting easier is what I'll say. This episode, especially, again, meeting his parent, his birth parent, I'm like, well, I can see her in my mind. You know what I mean? I can look at her. Hey, Jonathan, welcome.
Welcome, Jonathan.
Okay, so we enter the city. Rosamund Pike's like, we got friends here. We got pals here. So they go into the city. This is the crossroads.
This is the very edge of the Blight. So this fortress
It's called the crossroads, though, right? That's what they're called?
What?
The Waygates?
No, but it's like this area is called the crossroads, right?
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about, Vic. Yeah, Vic is talking about the collection of nations like Shinar and Kandor and
yes, the crossroads. Got it.
Wait, what is it called?
Do you want us to tell you the real names? I never know how much to tell you the real names. It's called.
No, leave it. Okay. I know what I'm referring to. So as long as
now
it's
we
not
know
confusing.
what you're referring to.
And now that I know, yeah, absolutely, it's the crossroads.
Okay, so we got friends at the crossroads in Fedora. So we're popping in, and we're like, oh yeah. Then we see this guy, and it's like, what's his deal? And then he's like,
his deal?
Thanks, Andrew. Hello. And then he's like, Lan, my friend, except they didn't call him Lan.
No.
And I can't remember what they called him. I don't even have a guess.
They called him Daishan.
They're like, Daishan, you're here. Big old hug, so excited. And then we get, is this guy the king of?
He's the Lord.
Fedora?
Yeah.
He is the lord of this city. He's not the king of the whole country. He is the lord of this city.
The Lord of Fedora. So we got this, and then there's also like his sister who sits next.
Boggy, thank you for joining as a member.
Hi, Boggy.
Thank you.
I love that your sound effect has just turned into like saying the name really, really excited, which honestly works for me. That super works for me.
It works great for me.
I think it works for me too.
Yeah. This is Fire Lord Agilmar, as many in the fan base have called him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Totally,
again,
right?
We're really just jumping. Again, this is a prequel for Avatar. It really is just like we're getting more and more breadcrumbs as to.
Definitely.
That is my strongest opinion: is that this all takes place in the world
in the same
of Avatar.
universe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities.
Which I'm very into.
What do you think of his lovely shoulder fashion?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hell yeah.
Me too.
Love it.
Love it this
so
coat.
much.
Love
I think
this
all
coat.
of it's so good. And he's like, I protect I protect my city, and that's my only idea. And And Rosamund Pike is like, okay, but there's something you need to know. And he's like, no buts, my city only. And she's like, okay, but there's some information. And he's like, and that information is that my city is protected because I protect it. And she's like, okay, but also you might want to close the gate because freaking Padme is steps behind us. And he's like, oh, great. Yeah, let's do that. Close the gate. Yep. Which was just, I think, very fun.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Speaking
and then we see they're too late. Padme is already swaggering on out of the gate.
Padme is out of the gate. I'm just so curious. Could this be an embodiment of not Shinola? What's the name of the guy that is
Shinola?
That's a watch company, and I know that.
Okay.
What is the name of the dark one again?
The dark one.
Oh,
The dark one.
The dark one.
But the dark one
You're
has
talking
a name.
Shaitan.
Shaitan.
Shaitan. Okay,
we
so
don't say
I'm
that
wondering.
name.
Oh, we don't say that name. Well, I say that.
Well,
name.
we can.
I'm not afraid. So I say Shaitan.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's a bit like Voldemort, right? Nobody says it. You call the dark one's eye on
it's kind of like she who must not be named.
Yeah, exactly.
Shy who must not be named.
Freaking exactly.
Yeah, Shaitan.
Shy who must not be named. Shaitan.
Correct. Shaitan.
I just
about
like
Shaitan?
it.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. Okay, so I'm wondering if I do like it. I think it's kind of beautiful.
We have currently raised $666, so
yeah, exactly.
We can say Shaitan.
This is the Shaitan hour.
This is the one name we get right. Is Shaitan, yeah. More and more proof that we're dark pals.
Well, maybe you guys. And I would support you if that was the case. Okay, but anyways, so I'm wondering if this is some sort of an embodiment of Shaitan, because I don't think that he could be a scream worm, right? Because do we know, can scream worms take any kind of shape?
We haven't seen that.
I don't think the show's given you any evidence that a scream worm could appear other than how they appear.
No.
Could this be Fire Ghost?
Don't know.
There's a lot of options for what it could be. I'm interested to hear what you think it is.
I think my closest guess is going to be Fire Ghost, only because of sort of the coat, and then also, I don't know, just like that's the only sort of like large figure that we have seen that we haven't really addressed in any sort of capacity. So I'm wondering, and if we know, because we all noticed that at White Castle, the city of White Castle, we all noticed that he was, of course, in that city.
Correct.
So I'm wondering if he's been following them the whole time. Maybe he has been like encouraging some of these visions. Is my thought.
That is,
that's a very interesting thought, and it's not.
It's not at all a bad thought, Vic.
Okay, thank you.
So then, what happens next? We get Padme Fane swaggering out of the gate, and we're back.
We get Moraine telling Fire Lord Aglamar's sister to send the red Aja after Matt.
Oh yeah, and we get this like, which was nuts because she's like, he's bad. End him, castrate him immediately. I mean, not that she said that, but she also knows that that's like a huge risk that you'd be taking by sending Red after, is that like, especially if there's like some dark inclinations. And so we really, in this episode, get Rosamund Pike going full Grey Gardens. Like she is like a little bit starting to sort of like putter around with her things, and she's like, send the Red after. Who cares?
She unbraids her hair. She's letting it all hang out.
Yeah, exactly. So it is one of those things where I am just like, that seems like a bad decision.
Ian Stark, thank you so much for the donation. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Ian, thank you so much. I wish y'all could hear this wonderful sound that I hear when that happens.
What does it sound like?
It sounds like Careless Whisper.
Is it Careless Whisper?
It's Careless Whisper.
It's
Oh,
Careless
I see.
Whisper.
Fantastic.
They briefly got to hear it.
And then it stopped
But-
working for some reason. We haven't figured out.
But
But
How
we'll
weird.
figure it out.
Well,
Yeah,
it stopped
Maureen
working.
is
I was-
having
I was-
her.
I was running the sound and my own audio through the same audio feed, and that was messing with my sound. So
Oh,
Right,
see.
I need to
right,
figure
yeah,
out how to
delayed.
have both without ruining the quality.
Drop it in
Totally.
the chat.
But Mary Lou, you can go ahead and
Yeah, so Maureen is having
Sing it.
her. Oh, I'll do my Careless Whisper.
Yeah.
That I will do. Okay, great. I love that we've released my Careless Whisper back onto the world. I have now permission to do my Careless Whisper. I will. Now we have our Maureen's Messy Queen arc.
Yeah.
She sicks the red Aja on Matt.
Well, we also
She's-
have this moment that I have a question about, if you don't mind.
Of course.
Please.
So we know that Firelord's sister trained at White Castle and has a ring, but the ring
Correct.
is empty because she left. I thought that anyone that left that was like somewhat powerful got shushed.
So
they a lot
she's
of
only about as powerful enough to light those candles. So how you see her light those candles, that's about all she can do.
So did
So
she
she is
quit or
not-
did she get
Mm,
fired?
You get fired, essentially. This is an honorable discharge from White Castle. She gets to keep her ring. She gets her ring, but she doesn't get a stone. She never.
Mintastic, if you donate $1,000 to the Trevor Project, I will not work on making sure we can hear Careless Whisper. But anything less than that is
That's
simply
it.
not worth it.
She doesn't get a stone because she never gets to join an Aja, and this is essentially an honorable discharge. Like, you are not strong enough to be one of us, to be a real Aes Sedai. So she's not an Aes Sedai. She just gets the ring to show that she studied there, and she can channel about as much enough to light the candles.
The context for that, Vic,
I see.
is that it's pretty common for like nobility or like very high aristocracy, like she is, to go train at the White Tower just as a matter of tradition, whether like even if they're not, even if they can't really do magic. It's just like a
Gotcha.
thing. It's part of their allyship with the White Tower.
So she went to Aes Sedai College and then dropped out to, go pursue
Yes.
theater on the East
Correct.
Coast.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay, I love that. And
She didn't
that
make it
makes-
through cuts.
She didn't make it through cuts. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But she's getting chorus parts at Summerstock, so that's nice.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. We freaking see Padme.
Fucking
and
smug ass Padme.
Yeah, not even just like walking through town and parents like, dudes,
Mm-hmm.
freaking Padme is here. And they're all like,
Uh-huh.
Perrin, shut the hell up. He's
Uh-huh.
dead. And
Mhm.
and Perrin's like,
True.
okay. I feel so bad for Perrin top to bottom of this episode. He's
Right?
just getting his freaking
Ass
butt
handed
kicked.
to him.
Yes,
Mhm.
it is really brutal for our wolf daddy himself to just be like really getting kicked while he's down.
Yeah, big time.
So yeah, we see him again, which is also making me think that he's got something maybe like kind of magical about him, because I'm wondering like, well, I guess how far is it to walk? I guess we don't really have time established there, like, because I'm like, how far would it take to walk from the gates to the city? And also, how did he get into the city? I guess if he's like,
I mean, he's right behind him,
yeah, and I guess
We
if he's
see him
known
in the
for
ways.
selling stuff, but how does he know his way?
Don't know.
I want more information.
I know. So then what happens next, Sarah?
What happens next is we meet
Oh,
Min.
freaking obsessed.
I knew you'd love Min.
Obsessed. My favorite character of the entire show.
I knew it.
I love them so much. So
And
much.
I'm willing to tell you their real name just because I know. Do you remember it? We just
No.
said it twice, but do you remember it?
I do not.
Because I know the people would want to know your name for this character.
Yeah.
How would you refer to them if you had to?
Okay. So I would say, and you said you just said their name twice.
Twice. Yeah,
Yeah.
we said it out loud twice to you.
Okay. I will go with Lex.
Ooh.
Perfect. I like it.
I
That's a
love
good name.
Lex.
Lex.
Yeah.
Lex is a good name. I mean, we could call them. Would you like to call them Lex, or do you want to know their real name?
It's so tricky because like now in my head they're a Lex, but I'm also like I also want to respect this character because I love this
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
I want to
wanna
tell
hear.
you. Yeah, I want to tell you their name because this is a chosen name, and we should respect that. Their name is Min. M-I-N.
Min.
Min.
Oh, you guys did just say that a couple
Yeah,
of
twice.
times.
Yeah.
Min. Min. Okay. I'm such a fan. I love Min. I love everything
But
about
definitely
Min.
Lex vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top to bottom, everything. My thought though is like time and era, like there's not a lot of X's used in people's names, so I'm wondering if like that just wasn't an option for them, but maybe like if they had lived future or past or in another dimension, that absolutely would have been their name.
Totally.
Yeah.
Min.
Totally.
Obsessed. I love Min so much. And I think everything about this.
Please no dead naming Min. This is a rule in this chat.
That's a rule.
Oh, is this like book canon for something else?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is Min. And I freaking love Min, and I will fight for Min. And Min is right off the bat just so freaking cool.
Yeah.
They have visions, and they bartend. So cool. So cool. DES.
Guys. DES. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, DES, if you come back for our charity stream tomorrow, we'll have to decide on amounts, but I will sing any song on the ukulele for a certain amount tomorrow. So if you want to request a special song tomorrow, come back.
We might have to boost that price eventually.
We might have to boost that price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because I technically will do it for free.
Yeah.
But sorry, we have money to make for a really good cause. So
for a really good cause. But thank you, DES.
We still haven't said it at all in the show.
The donation, Babs, the link should be pinned. Is that another donation? DES?
DES!
Oh my god.
Wow.
We're freaking blushing.
There should be a link pinned in the chat. That is the donation link for this.
That's
okay.
Right.
Dark One's Taint is requesting wet ass pussy. So
okay,
yeah,
I love that.
Tomorrow. Ukulele cover.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Grey Gardens. I don't know why I can't stop referring. Hi. I cannot stop referring to her as Megan Fox, and I literally don't know why. It sounds nothing like Rosamund Pike, but in my mind,
I mean, they're both like, super hot.
I think
they're both super hot.
Rosamund Pike. Rosamund Pike, full Grey Gardens, being like, "Tell me what you see," and Min's like, "Don't make me do this," and Rosamund Pike's like, "Just tell me." So yeah,
she's like, I got the crazy eyes a little bit, like, just fucking tell me,
just tell me, please.
Yeah,
love it.
So then Min's like, fine, I'm going to tell you, but I'm absolutely not going to be happy about it. So she starts with Wolf Daddy himself, Perrin, and it's like, well, this guy has freaking yellow eyes. And then Rosamund Pike's like, yeah, I know. Next. Yeah. And then Min's like, okay, let's be a little grateful. And then Min is like, okay, then we have Rand. And Rand is a dad.
Holding a bebe.
Rand is a
father. Do you have any thoughts on whose bebe that is?
Whose bebe do you think this is?
I thought it was him from earlier.
I think he's holding himself.
He's holding himself.
I mean, no, I don't. No,
I like that.
Honestly, you're not the only person. Honestly,
we don't know.
We don't have the right answer.
It's because it was like from earlier, and it also is connecting to a scene we're going to get later. So I was like, oh, I wonder if it is something like that, or is this going to be some like weird terrible, like Back to the Future sort of thing where like he gets together with his mom and is his own father. It can't be, right? Just tell me it's not.
You think he's gonna go back in time and
be
his
his
own
own
father?
dad.
Yeah, just tell me that's not it, because I don't think I can continue.
I
if that
really
is
don't
it.
want to
really wanna know?
confirm. Thank you so much, Bab.
Oh, Babs, thank
you,
And
Babs.
what a graphic! I love this.
Isn't that
Yes,
great?
that's one of my works I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I'm most proud of that one of yours too.
Me too.
For the great Lord.
Oh, thank you so much.
That is
Wow,
awesome.
797, 77. What a beautiful number.
This is
I love
really
it.
beautiful.
Gorgeous number.
Vic, I don't want to confirm or deny any of your theories.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think that there's a very low chance of that being correct, and I hope it's.
If we hit
Okay,
$1,000, will Vic profess their love for Rand this stream? $1,000 raised today.
It's
I mean,
possible.
I think we could do it.
I think we could do it.
We have 199 people watching right now. We've never hit 200, and
Let's
two
get
people to stop.
200. Somebody
Let's
log on
get
their cell phone.
200. Yeah, log on your cell phone. Oh, I could log on to my cell phone, but then I'm scared. Is that how I would see the chat? Is if I logged
Yes.
in?
You would see the
so
chat.
I'm not
Don't
going to
do
do
that.
Don't
that.
look at the chat.
Okay, so we got Rand holding his
And
baby
more people
self.
are leaving. I shouldn't have said anything. God.
Oh no.
But then we have Min who's like, and then I see and then of the women, I see somebody training to be an Aes Sedai and getting a ring, right? Getting an Aes Sedai ring.
She mentions a ring. Yeah.
A gold ring. And I'm like, okay, but very specifically, we didn't hear about both of them, which is making me think it's only going to be one of them, which is solidifying this idea. I really think that
200 people watching. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, we've done it. We broke the big 200 mark. Oh my word.
Mark says,
huge.
too popular for me. I'm out. Mark is a
Bye,
hipster.
Bye. Go back to Twitch.
Mark.
Too mainstream. Too mainstream.
But this leads me to, again, like there's so much that happened this episode, especially with like Nynaeve's like chatter about like not being able to save her friends and stuff like that from the dark bees or the wind bees. Wind bees?
The
Bee-wind.
Bee-wind.
The bee wind. I am thinking, I really do think that Nynaeve is going to break bad somehow. And I know I've sort of like said, thank
We are
you.
sellouts.
We've been working
We are
so hard to be sellouts.
Oh, thank you so much, Ian Stark. Oh my god.
Ian,
Ian, you're incredible.
This is so kind.
Mary Lou, I have a recording of you singing that song
Really?
that I have changed. I've updated the sound to no longer play Careless Whisper on saxophone, but to play your version of Careless Whisper. And I hear it every time someone donates $50.
Oh,
No one
that's
else
so
does.
fun. That's so fun.
Yeah.
I
We are
absolutely-
officially shills now, says Rantal Moore. We are officially
Yeah.
shills. We actually got called
Rantal
out
Moore,
on Twitter for being a money
When were
making.
we ever not shills?
I know, right? We actually got called out on Twitter by a troll, by an absolutely just like foundless troll for being a money making enterprise, which is hysterical. But just so you guys know, they are absolutely correct. We are a money making enterprise. We don't actually care about the books or the show. We are doing this to take all of your money and donate it to charity, I guess. And that's how
Iman,
evil
thank you
it
for
got.
subscribing.
welcome.
Thank you,
Oh,
Iman.
Vic, we need you on every single one of our streams.
Okay, but back to these four.
Back to this.
Jessica, oh my god.
Okay,
So, I still like that. Just to wrap that up, that really does lead me back to believe that Nynaeve, I do think, is not going to follow through with the Aes Sedai. Is going to do something on her own. I don't quite know what yet, and I don't know if she's going to end up. I think that she's not going to be able to save someone. Next
Underscore, this is a good point. And Vic, right on that subject, if you are not able to save someone and it's something you're interested in doing, there is a great course on saving someone's on Skillshare. who are our sponsors for this episode. Use
Absolutely.
code Skillshare.com/Vic is a dark pal, and it will summon Shaitan to your house. And Shaitan will
Specifically.
teach you whatever you want to know for a price. It's like a
Listen,
monkey's paw
you're
situation.
saying that like maybe it's a bad thing. If being a dark pal means being interested in sort of like hearing what's going on in the world and sort of like knowing, because like, how do I know that Shaitan is bad? Literally, how do we know that Shaitan is bad?
I mean, his
Fudgy
name is the
BMP,
dark
oh
one.
my god, that's incredible. We need $100. We need like a $100 thing. That's amazing.
Okay,
I need
Fudgy
something
Vamp.
special.
Fudgy Vamp. If you show up tomorrow, you get a show. You get a request. I'm just saying it right now. Get it.
Also, Beth,
$1,050 straight to the Trevor Project.
Beth
Thank
and
you guys
Fudgy
so
Vamp,
much.
start thinking of your
Yes.
requests. You probably want it to sound good on ukulele because that's the only thing I can play. So yeah,
guys,
but you get a request tomorrow for sure.
Guys, you might think I'm lying,
Sandstorm.
but I'm being 100% serious. The mobile game that has totally taken my brain by storm has been Raid Shadow Legends. If you love the Shadow like Vic does, then you should play Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
I get it. We're joking and we're having fun, just sort of like on the stream.
Ananke,
you know.
thank you so much. Oh my
Ananke,
god.
Thank you. Here we
Thank
go.
you.
I did get the best.
Uh-oh, Vic. Look how much money we've raised.
We have raised $1,050.
That's pretty amazing.
Which is
I
over
think I know what that
$1,000.
means.
Vic, it's time to put your improv skills to the test, Vic.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just...
Okay, let us set the scene. It is a rom-com. Okay? It is a rom-com. Rand Althor it's Christmas, so let's do Love Actually.
His last
Rand
name is
Althor.
Althor?
Yeah.
It is true, yeah.
Okay.
Rand Althor is about to board the plane to the Eye of the World to fight the Dark One because he's convinced that he is the Dragon Reborn. You have just run through airport security, past all the warders of TSA, and you have like stopped Rand at the last second before he boards the plane to the Eye of the World. Okay, go.
Okay.
What do you
Is
say?
there an airport at the Eye of the World? Be easier
Yeah,
to walk
you're
through
in
the
you're in
freaking
Faldara
dead
Airport. They're about to
forest.
fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, let me through. No, you don't understand. My friend is back there. I have to get through. Rand! Wait!
Vic, I've got to go. I've got to board this plane and fight
I
the Dark One.
I know. Can you just give me 1 second, please?
Vic, you don't
Ma'am,
understand.
I'm
Vic,
so
you don't
sorry.
understand.
This is not
Can you just give me a
acceptable.
minute? Okay. What's your name? Shelby? Shelby, can you give me a minute?
Okay.
Rand,
Vic,
I couldn't let you get on that plane because I had to say something.
Vic, before you say this,
Okay.
I'm the Dragon Reborn.
I know.
You knew?
Yeah. And I just wanted to say I like your curly hair in the morning and I like the way that you sort of like stare blankly at me from across rooms and yeah, like I've even sort of grown to love you're like pulling swords on people who don't really deserve it. Mm-hmm. Rand, I love you. Don't get on that plane.
But
don't be the Dragon Reborn. You don't have to, because guess what? I love you. I love you, and you don't have to. You don't have to get on that plane. You can just, again, you can not be Dragon Reborn, and we can not deal with it,
Vic,
and then somebody down the road can deal with it.
If I don't get on that plane, the world's going to end.
Well, my world is ending if you do get on that plane.
And scene. Vic, incredible.
Thank you so much.
That
was what you get for $1,000.
That is amazing.
Was that worth it?
Worth it. Yeah, worth it.
Actually, don't tell me if it wasn't worth it. I don't actually want to
Vic's
know.
Rand, I love you should be the $100 alert.
Someone is knocking on my door again, so hopefully it's not the SWAT team. I'll be right back.
What do we do? Do we wait?
Vic, you've received a tip, a $10 tip for you.
Oh, thank you, Ian. I really appreciate it. I feel bad for being rude to Shelby, but sometimes important situations call for
That was good. That was fantastic.
For having to be mean to people in
also, Vic,
service.
in the past, you have been down on yourself for not coming up with good names on the spot.
Oh,
And Shelby, what a good name.
thank you again, Ian. Thank you. I appreciate that. Shelby and Daniel are my two go-to improv.
Pasut, go to bed. Bye.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Take it
Pasut's
easy.
in Germany.
And
It's like early in the morning.
Pasut, we will see you tomorrow.
Combo, thank you so much for the
Thank
donation.
you.
DES, thank you so
Combo!
much for the tip.
DES. Thank you. Really appreciate it. We'll be doing maybe some more of that tomorrow. Okay, Mary Lou is
We'll be doing a whole lot more of that tomorrow. Look,
So
tomorrow
I'm a
we have
little
18
worried.
hours to fill. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us.
Thank you, Bob. Oh, thank you all so much. Okay, where were we in the
Vic,
story?
Well, Mary Lou will be right back. While we wait for Mary Lou, how much do you think you'll be able to make the stream tomorrow? You said you'd join around noon, right?
Oh, I could probably join earlier than that. That is when I'm done exercising and eating
People
breakfast.
are calling me out for not knowing how time zones work, and I'm sorry, I'm not a time mage who automatically knows what fucking time it is in Germany. It is 11 p.m. in Germany.
No, I think you're being rightfully called out. RJ, thank you
I'm
for
being
letting
rightfully
us
called
know.
out. Good night, Pasut.
Good night,
I'm sorry.
Pasut. Sleep well. Do you know a German lullaby?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just Google one real quick. Because there are real Germans on the stream, and if this were an improv show, 100% I would be making up a fake German lullaby.
Edelweiss is right there, though I'm
I don't know
assuming
Edelweiss.
that's actually not really
Edelweiss?
even. What
How
is
about this one?
Edelweiss? From Sound of Music?
Oh wait, I know this one. Guten Abend, gute Nacht, mit Rosen bedacht, mit Noglein bestert, schlupf unter die Deck.
That was beautiful.
Good night, Pasut.
Good night, Pasut. Sleep well at 11 p.m. Standard German time. So Min is a character from the books who is different in the books or has like a larger story arc in the books to this point.
No. This is pretty accurate. So this introduction happens in a different like place than it does in the books. They meet Min in a small town that they cut out from the show because they had to align the story a little bit.
Sure.
But no, Min is a character from the books. And this is pretty accurate to Min so far.
Okay, gotcha. So
yeah, what I was talking about the dead name is that Min literally does have a dead name. Min is their chosen name, and they hate their birth name. So
oh man, and that's in the books too.
Yeah,
it's in the books. Yeah,
I love that because also too for like the 90s, what a cool freaking thing to have in there. Even if I don't know if that was like an intentional thing, but I really love that.
And this actor uses they them pronouns and is non-binary. The character in the books was not non-binary, but like
disagree. But
okay, what I'm saying
there's
is
a difference of interpretation.
Not explicitly non-binary. They don't use they them pronouns, but they absolutely like.
Robert Jordan didn't know he was writing a non-binary character.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have the language for that. But Robert Jordan, I do think, was intentionally writing a character inspired by people he knew that in modern times would probably describe themselves as non-binary or at least
genderqueer.
Yeah,
like Min, it doesn't. I said this last night to chat. Some chat has heard it, but it doesn't come across as clearly in the show because the costuming is just so expansive, and like Moraine is wearing pants all the time, and there's a lot of kind of butch women in the books. Like when Rand meets Min is the first woman he's ever seen who wears pants. Like Min wears Min's pants and Min's shirts, and it's like a whole thing. Like Min stands out.
I understand. Okay, gotcha. That makes perfect sense.
I read her as more like a non-gender conforming, but like, she's very much like not a rigid rigidly gendered character, which is really
Gotcha.
exciting.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. And I absolutely love this actor's portrayal. I think like
Yeah.
so wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
So Min goes through and is like, this is what I see for very specifically for the two men and very wishy-washy for the general women. But then they go on to be like, but I see them all so
Min is
clearly.
fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Cool. Baggy, I love
Totally.
that. But it really is something where like it is so interesting that they're like, I see all of them equally clearly when like they really did just give a very wishy-washy answer for the two women in the middle. So it is
Yeah.
like, why? I'm just curious as to why. And then we also sort of find out that Min like withholds some information sometimes, or
Yeah.
like will only give
Get
half
some
truths.
info later.
Because then we also get that moment with Megan Pike.
Megan
Rosamund
Pike.
Pike. We get this
Rosamund
moment
Pike.
with Rosamund Pike where she is like, tell me about me. And then Min's like, don't do this. And Rosamund Pike's like, no, do it. Do me now. And what does Min say again? I can't remember.
She says, I see the Amerlin seat.
Oh,
She's
right.
in
And it's
full
going to be the
regalia.
death of you.
Your downfall. It
Your
will be your
downfall.
Downfall, which really solidifies this idea to me because again, in storytelling, we have them like brought together and they have this perfect moment last episode, which is really making me think that that is the end of it. And I think based on Dana's information as well earlier, that Amber Throne is going to be a dark pal.
Yeah, you missed Vic's theories on the Amber Throne last session, Mary Lou.
I can sense them. I can feel them.
Yeah.
I
So-
really do think that I think that it's a breaking point. I think that they had their moment to be together. And so now it's going to be them torn apart. And I do think that this is going to be Rosamund Pike's big like thing moving forward.
Loyal Book Club was asking for a source that confirmed Kay Alexander is non-binary. It is in their Instagram profile, but you have to go look on mobile, because on mobile Instagram you can add specifically a pronouns tag, and Kay Alexanders are listed as she, they. So I don't actually know Kay's label for themselves. Like I don't know if they would consider themselves like non-binary or gender non-conforming woman or gender queer or whatever, but those are their pronouns at least.
Right. Fantastic. Love it. So yeah, I freaking loved Min's moment with Rosamund Pike. And then we get this like truly insane scene, right? Where they're in the room all together and Rosamund Pike just like lays it all out. She's like,
she
listen.
snaps. Girl,
Yeah,
she
like,
snaps.
She's like, listen. One of you is the dragon and the rest of you are going to die. Do you want to come? Are you coming?
Yup.
Come or don't. And they're all sort of like, yeah, maybe let's not. That sounds like, yeah, let's not go, maybe. Which, makes absolute perfect sense, right? I don't know. Like, yeah, Rosamund Pike, like, really couldn't have finessed this any other way other than just to be like, what? Come on. Are you ready to die? Or maybe not. But
she's lost it.
3 of you will and 1 of you won't. And not Matt. I can't see that.
Oh, there we go. She, they. Kay Alexander, she, they.
Kay Alexander. Yeah. And so then Rosamund Pike gets out of there, and then we get this long discussion between them to be like, what the heck are we doing?
Yeah, what are we going to do?
And then we get this moment with Rand and Egwene, and Rand and Egwene are like they get in a little bit of a tiff where he's like, you're leaving to train, and she's like, no, I'm not, like, I love you. And then we get this weird moment with Perrin where Perrin's like, don't touch her or whatever, and then we get this
talk to her that way.
Yeah, don't talk to her that way. And then we get this freaking bombshell from Nynaeve that literally made no sense, where he was like, you're in love with Egwene. Literally, when the B-Wind said, like, you love somebody else more than your wife, I was like, who?
I know.
I was like, who is it? Like, and then I was like, maybe Nynaeve? Like, I don't know who it is. Maybe could it be the woman from the Leaves, the traveling family band? I was like, it could be. Yeah, I was like, maybe it's her. Like, I really had no idea. And then when they said it was Egwene, I was shocked.
Yeah. I mean, when we watch back, there are a few lingering glances from Perrin on Egwene, but not enough, in my opinion, for this to have been a love triangle.
I also really love both of these actors, especially Perrin, but I also
oh my god, in this moment, I thought he was so great.
I thought he was so fantastic. Between the two actors, don't see the chemistry.
None at all. None.
And it's such a horny show. I'm so sorry, Sarah. What were you saying?
Yeah. Oh, I found it really interesting how much y'all vibe with this acting choice, because I mean, I think Marcus is great. Like, I just found this performance of this line fucking hilarious. The only woman I ever loved was my wife.
I loved it. I
so
loved
funny.
his Batman voice.
I liked it too.
So funny. I liked when he was like, "What are you laughing at?"
Yes,
yes, funny.
Yes.
I was like, I loved his Batman voice.
Well, and it's funny because we know there's some Wolf Daddy stuff going on. So I'm like, what's going on with that? And that maybe felt like that ties into that somehow. And I'm interested to see how. But from here, where do we go next?
He was alpha woofing it.
I love that. Holding back that wolf rage. Yeah, exactly.
After this, they all sort of scatter.
The chat is simply demanding that we ask you now. How would you have liked this scene better if, okay, let me reset the scene.
Okay.
The B-Wind does not say you love a woman more than you love your wife. It says you love someone else. And the revelation in this scene is that Perrin has always been in love with Rand.
Gold.
Absolute way better, gold. Right? Way better.
I love it. And that makes like more sense to me. And there's like more tension between those characters. Like that to me, I'm like, yeah, that absolutely would check out. And that would have been one of those moments that would have just made me be like, yes. Whereas with this one, I was just like, I really don't see it. I don't even think Egwene likes herself very much right now, let alone like anybody else, like having two people fight over her in this moment.
Yeah, I love Perrin. I do wish it was.
I just think it would have been a much stronger choice, and there's more to back up that relationship because, like, I don't know,
Michael. Yeah, that's the triangle.
And that's it. And that really is it. Yeah, because
Rand doesn't. I mean, and Matt doesn't like either of them.
No, Matt loves Perrin. That's why he gave him his knife.
Yes, and I gotta say, with Matt not being here, and with Rand using his words as opposed to pulling a sword on my freaking guy L'Oreal, I liked his defense of the relationship a lot more, especially because it's like it's that idea of like it being hard to like stand up to the people that you love. You know what I mean? And he loves Egwene. And so having to like stand up for Matt in front of Egwene must have been like really hard and tricky, especially with everything happening there now.
Totally.
And Vic, as Fudgy VMP points out in the chat, this was basically the show just giving you the experience of reading a Robert Jordan written romance because he was famously bad at it. And anytime two characters confess their love for each other in the books, readers are always like,
What? Since when?
Huh? I genuinely do think so. This is book canon too.
This is not book canon.
Oh, this is not book canon. Right, because I'm just like, I don't know. It literally makes no sense. And I genuinely do think that had Matt, you know, come along and been a part of this, I think that something else would have filled this, like,
that is a lot of people's
triangle.
Theories, and it's one of mine. Yeah, I think that there would have been a different argument being had. It probably would have centered on Matt, on like, you support him and you don't support him. You support him, but you're cruel to him, you know. And there are definitely Perrin and Egwene crush moments in the book. Yes, no, he talks. He definitely, yeah. In the first couple books, Perrin's like, oh, Egwene, I think of her. I like her. Like different from a sister, but she has Rand, and
I see.
but it's like kid stuff, you know.
Right. It's not like
Um,
I'm about to unleash the wolf
throw
on
down in a living room at my best friend over this girl, right? So
Was my wife.
my wife.
That was really good.
I agree. I
Thank
think there
you.
would have been a totally different argument, and it would have been about
He does.
Matt instead of this love triangle.
Yeah. I think that would have
Right.
been better. I think they were always setting this up. Maybe not. I mean, anyway, we can talk about this on Monday, Mary Lou. It's I
Yeah.
don't want to give Vic too much outside of the show information.
Fair enough.
So we see this happen, and then we get this little scene between Rosamund Pike and Lan,
Mm-hmm.
where she's
Yeah.
like, I'm not the only thing in the world. And he's like, you're the only thing in my world.
I know.
Not really, but he's like,
this whole scene was so sad because it really does feel like Rosamund Pike, for whatever reason, is really distancing herself from Lan. And I've at least sort of sensed this for like a few episodes where it almost feels like she's prepping him to like live life without her for whatever reason.
Totally.
And it's so heartbreaking because pro or anti
Love
Perrin and
yeah.
wait, which love triangle?
Perrin and
The one in the
Egwene.
show. The one in the show.
Anti-show one, very, very pro. I just don't buy the show one. Not that I'm anti it. If it had been done, if I had seen more between Egwene and Perrin, I'd be like, yeah, sure, absolutely. But it just came so out of left field for me, and I didn't sense the chemistry. But if we're talking Rand, Perrin, and Matt, absolutely 1000%. I'm so into it. It's not even funny.
Hot.
Yeah.
So Moiraine is setting up Lan to not have her around anymore for whatever reason.
Really seeming like that. I mean, like, I think I said this a few episodes ago where it just is like, she really keeps, and we've also like gone into exploring what it's like for a warder to not have, and sort of like the bonds of like, can you break a warder bond when both parties are still living? Like those sort of things. I feel like we've explored some of those ideas, and she keeps being like, you could be happy, doing other stuff, and he's like, no, I don't want to be happy doing other stuff. I'm happy here with you, so no thank you. But then like this whole scene when he's like, and when freaking Rosamund Pike is like, I like her, and Lan's like, who? Shut up.
Very
What do you
cute.
mean?
Which
is also so sweet because I don't think Rosamund Pike likes her that much. I don't think she hates her, but you know what I mean? Like, but it's like that moment of like,
her, but
yeah, exactly. But it really is that moment of being like, I feel like I've been there where it's like you have a friend who's like, who is like very close to you, who really loves somebody or really likes somebody.
good comment, Boggy.
What is
a good joke?
Is the mist
Mountains of Mist is the mountain range where the two rivers is.
Fantastic. Okay, makes sense, and I also love it.
Really fast. Joe Berlin says some people guessed the Perrin Egwene Rand triangle in episode 1 already. Yeah, I do know that because I was one of them.
People.
Were you really?
You guessed it.
I really was. I really did say that. Yeah.
I think it was a thing that was guessable, but I know I'm seeing all these comments like they set it up in episode 1. They set it up in episode 1. There were things you could interpret in episode 1 as setting up that I think many people actively chose not to because they didn't want it to be a love triangle,
And
right? And there were
me.
other ways to interpret those comments that I thought were better.
Yeah,
I think I just missed it.
True.
I think I might have just missed it come episode 1. It's gloat season.
Gloat!
That's it. Oh, here we go.
Gloat. I was right from the beginning, so I can gloat. I'm in the gloat. Aja, so is Vic.
There was a perfect Nynaeve braid tug.
Great braid tug in this episode. Yes.
Really fantastic braid tug that comes. Is it earlier or is it the one I'm thinking of from later?
Later.
Yeah.
Oh, later. I'm thinking of the one later.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. Yes. So next we have it's Lan.
It's loyal. Yeah. It's Lan. He's walking through town.
Through town. freaking Nynaeve is like sneaking behind him, being like, let's see what's going on. Which I really love, because her whole thing was everybody was like, your friends, you're gonna fail your friends and you're gonna be alone. That was her whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely heartbreaking, especially as somebody who like lost her parents and like, found the comfort in like helping the town, and like through her like being able to mentor Egwene, like just how freaking heartbreaking. So then Lan is going to dinner with who we presume is his family. And they're all chit-chatting.
They have
shooting
noodles.
the breeze,
They say
catching
she's
the
very
breeze.
pretty.
Yes, they spend a lot of time saying she's very pretty, which honestly I don't love.
She is very pretty, though.
She is very pretty.
She's very pretty, but I also like, it always bothers me whenever that's like the first like thing that people
Mhm.
say about people when they walk in a room.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
oh,
true.
how handsome, how pretty. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, that's okay. And then also,
Yeah.
if you don't get that, it's like, oh, like somebody walks in the room, they're like, how pretty. And then another person walks in and they're like, and that's Andrea? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Makes me feel sad. What
Yeah.
is this?
Sure.
This question was asked in the chat, so I'm answering it.
Oh, so this
there
is for the book
account.
series.
This is on Tor.com, and it's actually it is exaggerated in fan memory. It happens a lot in Dragon Reborn, but it only
Braid
happens a
tugs?
couple times before that. Braid tugs.
Wow.
Yeah, none in the Great
in the
Hunt.
Great
1 in the
Hunt.
Eye of the World. 20 in the Dragon Reborn, and the 1 in the Eye of the World, I believe, only happens in the Ravens prologue that Robert Jordan added later in the series. So
I'm sorry.
it is
What are tugs?
Nynaeve is always described as tugging her braid,
She's
and it
tugs
happens
her
a
braid.
lot
But that would
in
be a
book
braid
3.
tug, right? So what is just tug?
What is a tug? I don't
That's
know.
a good question. I think that's just every time that word appears, if you're doing just like a search. I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Huh.
Yeah.
What are we
But
tugging?
skirts were smoothed a ton.
Skirts are smoothed a lot, but yeah, the braids tugged, it's one of my favorite tropes, memes as well, but it's actually not that common.
Wow, that's crazy. I thought it would be
there you go.
way more.
Now
Good
we
to
know.
know. I'm glad we got the data on it.
Glad we got the
Mhm.
data. So they have this noodle dinner. It's very meet the parent.
It's so fun. Nynaeve is crushing. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, we love Nynaeve. Nynaeve is like, I love them. And
Wait.
then Lan's-
Before we get there, Mary Lou, you skipped my favorite scene in the entire season so far.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, Lan is eating, they're getting noodles. Lan sees Nynaeve out the window.
Oh,
and then Nynaeve is like, oh fuck, he saw me, and then hello.
Boom.
He's outside the house.
immediately there.
He
It's
went
like,
around the
"What's up?"
back.
What's up? And then she's like, sorry, I'm going to get out of here. Like, what do you do in that situation? At that point, you just got to go, can I eat with you? Like, you can't be like, I got to go and then disappear. Be like, oh, sorry, I got lost and I was watching you. And I was waiting. Honestly, at that point, here would be my excuse. If I'm following Lan, I get caught. I'm outside the window. I'm immediately embarrassed because he Scooby-Doo style just like appears out of nowhere. I'd be like, oh, sorry, I went for a walk and I got lost and I heard your voice. And then I was like, oh, maybe Lan can tell me how to get back to where I'm going. And then I peeped in the window and I saw you having dinner. And I was like, oh, I don't want to interrupt. So I was going to wait until you were done dinner and then see if you could give me directions back to
I like that a lot better. I like that.
Very good. Would have been better.
But instead she got to have a lovely dinner and it forwarded her character arc, which I think does probably make more sense for the show.
Fine.
It's fine.
I love a long out of nowhere sitcom style rambling justification for why she was following him.
Yeah,
I love that.
Because then she's like, she tells this whole story and there's the laugh track and then he just puts a hand on her shoulder and he's like, hey, you hungry? And she's like starving, and then they go.
Yeah, exactly. So he literally does almost exactly that when he's like, are you gonna come in? And so they have their noodles. And then
Vic
what
has
happens?
a concerningly well-made plan for what to do when caught stalking.
Just sometimes, not always. In this case, sure. I would love to write a Wheel of Time sitcom version of the show where it's just like a laugh track and like the like a live film. Wheel of Time filmed in front of a live studio audience. I'm going to
The
work
wheel
on it.
weaves as the wheel wills. The Wheel of Time is filled in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so they have dinner. Land's good with kids.
Land's
walks her
great
home.
with kids. You know it. He's good with kids when he's just like, "You got your soup? Okay, great. I'm gonna finish my conversation with this 8-year-old," and then turns to her and is like,
"Yeah, yeah."
And then Nynaeve's like, "Oh yes,
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic."
He walks her home.
He walks her home, and she's like, "So
Kiss me."
And he's like, "I won't." And then he goes to bed, and it kind of seems. And then she's sort of like, I'm like, oh no, she's gonna do something crazy, and she kind of does, where she just like walks into his room, and he's got his shirt off. He's got all those scars.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Life of a warder is pretty dangerous.
Is it warder training? Is it from? Because I guess they've been traveling like straight through.
He also,
for, like,
100% will improvise the Wheel of Time sitcom for a while tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Maybe if we can get Zach Reno on the stream.
Fantastic.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, it's so before he became Moiraine's warder, he would just like go fight in the Blight by himself a lot because he was like suicidal.
He had a rough life.
And he had a rough life.
Brutal. And we know that there's a skull in the Blight, so you got to be careful in there.
Yeah, because
There's
you
a
heard
skull in
like
a
he told us his past. Do you
Right.
remember what he taught us?
Yes. So he was what's it called again?
Daishan.
He's the
Daishan.
Daishan, which means he was next in line to be king, but his entire family was killed by the Blight.
The Blight basically, like the Blight is always trying to encroach on humanity, and the country where he was from was the furthest north. It was the last bastion before Faldara
Of the crossroad.
And eventually
Gotcha.
his
got
family ended up.
absorbed.
Yeah, they were betrayed and they were defeated, and it got absorbed by the Blight. So
Oh,
So he's
he
like
was
one
rescued.
of the very last surviving Malkyrie.
Yeah, so he was rescued as a bebe and like spent his whole
by this family.
kind of
smuggled
he
him
spent
out.
his youth, or like when he was in his teens, 20s, just like he's always described as waging a one-man war against the Blight, where he would just go like try to kill as many shadow spawn as he could, and kind of implicitly in the hopes that he would die one day doing this.
Oh,
But
Art,
it's
Which
very
is
sad.
why when he says to Moiraine, like, I didn't have anything to live for or die for, and you gave me both.
and you gave me both.
That's why it kind of feels like being a warder would be beneath him, but like he found a partner and a purpose.
Yeah, and he's into it, and it also like makes sense too why like a blue Aja would be interesting to him, with like having like a specific cause like that. Okay, so we get that, we see these scars, and then freaking Nynaeve slips in the door, and she's like,
Pops in.
Hey. And then Land's like, hey. And Nynaeve's like, if you want me to go, just say you want me to go. And he's like,
Can't do that.
She's like, great. They kiss. Oh, spectacular.
It's really good.
Spectacular. And then we get
really
more of this Rand shooting hoops with these arrows.
This feels very much like a shooting hoops montage, and he just keeps missing the layup. He just keeps missing his 3 corners.
Just barely.
Yeah,
he's
stressed out.
He's shooting those vertical hoops and is really just like, come on, here we go, let's do this. And is this the moment where we start hearing? Oh no, then we get.
No, it's later.
We know we see that he is missing the bullseye.
He's not hitting it. He's missing all his 3-pointers. He's missing his layups. He's off.
So to be honest, up until this point, we haven't really seen him shoot a lot or anything like that.
I was wondering that. Like, we knew he's a very good shot.
I feel like I knew it because he carried around a bow and arrow. So I was like, oh, he's got to know how to use that. But also, too, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, he's great. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's good. Like, I saw him shooting it because he's getting it in the red. And I was like, oh, yeah, so great. Fantastic. Like, he's not, like, the best, but he's, like, good. Like, I don't know that I would be carrying around a bow and arrow as my method of shot, but I mean, like
Yeah.
you're good. You're going to get it a lot of the time.
Mhm.
But I didn't realize that was meant to be like him doing poorly with that. That was
Mhm.
Yeah.
supposed to be the indicator that he was not
So
doing well.
canonically, the Two Rivers, like the people from the Two Rivers are the best archers. It is a
In
cultural thing. It's
the
very
world.
important to their culture.
Mhm.
And Rand
Oh,
is the best of the young men
Yeah.
at it.
so this
You
isn't
never
even an
got that
Olay thing.
information.
This is a
This is a Two Rivers thing.
This is a Two Rivers thing. Yeah, he learned how to shoot from
Riverbend.
Tam.
I apologize. I should be using my Vic
Riverbend.
terminology.
Riverbend. Tam is the best archer in Riverbend, and
Tam is
Tam
Papa.
taught. Yeah, Tam's
Papa.
Papa. So Papa taught Rand how to shoot, and Rand is by far the best of the young men.
Gotcha. Okay, fantastic. So, and
they're
okay,
all
so
very, very good.
I see. So even Perrin and Matt.
They are like okay for people from their village, but would be very good anywhere else.
Gotcha. Okay, fantastic. So them shooting in that red circle every single time, people would
That'd be
like,
pretty good.
yeah,
Actually,
pretty
I
good.
think Perrin is canonically good. I think Perrin is second to Rand, maybe. Of the
Oh,
young
great.
men.
Okay, so we get all this, and then we get Egwene who comes on up and is like, "Hey, I was waiting for you to come apologize to me," and
Mhm.
that I was just like, "Come on, that's not how you end an argument. That's how you continue an argument. Like, if you want to have a conversation, be like, hey, can we talk? I have been hoping you would want to talk or whatever, but like, we can't come to the table immediately combative. Like, let's chat. Let's make it an open conversation." So she then is like, "You don't think I love Matt? I love Matt." And it's like, I didn't think you loved Matt. So I'm happy to hear you say that, because I didn't necessarily think that you loved Matt based on what you'd said earlier.
Mhm.
You know, I hate being on Rand's side, but I'm on Rand's side for this one. I think I didn't see that necessarily. But this conversation was nice. And so then they get this, again, this is another moment where we make it all up and we figure out what we want, which means it can't end this way, where it's like, I'm going to be an Aes Sedai, you're going to be my warder, we're going to live happily ever after. They get a big old hug, credits roll, they drive off into the sunset, the show is over, they're done, no more, they
If
kiss.
only. Ding
Be
dong.
right back.
Okay,
That's
bye.
my amphetamines. Oh, Maddie will get them.
Oh,
Thank you, Maddie.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maddie. So
And
that
by
moment,
amphetamines, I mean actually legally prescribed Adderall.
great.
So.
So in that moment, it's like, we know that that's not how it's going to end up. Like immediately in that moment, I'm like,
No.
okay, absolutely not. That's not where we're going with this. This means that this is
Yeah.
probably the end of them in this moment right here. And I think I was correct, because then we get our next scene, which I guess starts right with this moment too. We get that braid tug, and she's like,
We already kind of talked about it.
Yeah,
She's
he
like,
explains
okay,
his life.
Now that we fucked, now that I've made it through the fog that is just my overwhelming Daniel Henney horniness,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me what are you? What is they keep calling you?
what is this?
Oh, Nynaeve is like,
she asks,
what's a
what is
Daishen?
Daishen?
Oh,
What is Daishen?
right. I was like, are you talking to me? I'm like, I don't know. But yes, absolutely. They're like, what is this? Get the life story. Very
Mhm.
exciting. From
Mhm.
there, then he's like, yeah, oh, because she's still like, I just don't get this Rosamund Pike thing. Like, why?
Mhm. Yeah,
And
what's
he's
up?
he's like, this is why. And so I wonder if, well, no, I don't think so, because literally she is taking away one of her fears, which is not being able to protect everybody. And she's literally taking one of them to like sort of live or die. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, but is like literally taking one of them to be destroyed. And we don't even know like if this does pan out and the dragon is able to like save everybody, what then happens to the dragon? Like they're just going to let a guy walk around with all that power? I don't think so. We're going to talk. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 1000%. And so
The
we
first
get
one.
we get all this. Maybe it seems like there's going to be a nice moment for the two of them.
Land
He did.
Ooh.
He did have them.
He
Thank
did
you,
have the
Susan.
when I'm in the hot tub, Leonard's cause they're in the hot tub.
You're blowing our load. You gotta save that shit. That
Oh,
shit's
sorry.
valuable. That's worth
Oh,
50
sorry.
bucks now.
That
Sorry,
That's
that
just
was
for 50
$50
bucks.
now. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so we get all of this. And then from here, is there anything big I'm missing in this scene?
Nope.
Great.
Nope, that's it. And he's just like,
Um,
I don't belong to her. And she's like, okay.
Yeah. What's the next?
They have the lovely, tender little moment.
It's very cute.
Next scene is cut to
Okay.
Rand and Egwene asleep in
Here we
bed.
go.
So
Here we
this
go.
I hate because we are now because it's messing with the POV of the show in terms of us. The show has now lied to us, and I don't understand. Right?
This is
Because
what Sarah said.
Is what I said.
It bothers me so much because all we know is that we can trust what the show is showing us. So now I'm like, well, what if the show is just lying to us and it's going to turn? Yeah, exactly. Very clear-headed as he's thinking all these things. But the show had said that he was thinking, what if Egwene leaves and all of this stuff?
Yeah,
was what was
the
what
wind was telling him.
Yeah, it was what Windbees was telling him. But in actuality, what was actually happening was he was like, "You're the dragon. You're the dragon. Admit it."
They lied to us. They lied to us.
Lied.
It's not that
It wasn't
they
even
didn't
ice.
tell
It
us.
wasn't ice.
No, it was
lying.
ice lying because
lie.
they didn't.
Hell.
I think it was ice lying because they
Vic,
weren't
I'm
not
sorry.
telling the truth. They weren't. They told everything they said was true. They just didn't tell you the whole truth, which is very ice lying.
But I don't know.
I
because,
don't consider it Aes Sedai because they aren't. The show isn't an Aes Sedai, and the show hasn't presented itself as a human with motivations. I'm with Vic.
Yeah,
like the
we
show
got
thus
like
far.
2 lines from everybody, and so what? We're now meant to believe that like everybody else was like done with their whispers, but all of a sudden like Rand is still like, wouldn't somebody be like, Rand, what is going on? You've been like listening to these voices for hours. I really do think that it was the show, the POV betraying us, and it makes me upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you, Vic. I mean, I understand, Mary Lou, where you're coming from. Like, yeah.
I think it was more a lie of omission in order to have this reveal. Do I think it's manipulation? Absolutely.
And I don't like being manipulated. Because I feel like the only reason to omit that isn't for good narrative in that moment. It's for the twist. It's like meta level manipulation. Rand was hearing it. My pet peeve with twists is when they're only twists to the viewer because we don't have access to information the show withheld.
It's very Scooby-Doo, where it's like
didn't
all of a
have
sudden they're like,
access.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
A good twist to me has to be experienced through the perspective of a character who also is experiencing that twist. But Rand had that information in that moment because he knew what the wind was telling him, and we did not. And that's where I think the disconnect happens that makes it feel like cheap and misleading.
Yeah, I see where you guys are coming from. Totally.
It is like Scooby-Doo in those episodes where see ya. It is genuinely like in Scooby-Doo where they're like, it was the milkman, and everybody's like, where was the milkman? And they're like, the milkman, you didn't see him, but he was following us the entire time in his truck, and he has a refrigerated truck, which was how he got the ice from place to place. And we were like, you literally never mentioned the milkman until right now. We saw nothing about the milkman, and that's what this felt like.
Yeah, Ben asks, how would you have solved the reveal then? And I think Sarah had a great idea where we do hear Rand hearing, it's you're the dragon reborn, but we maybe also hear everyone else hearing, it's you're the dragon reborn, because it's not like he's the only one.
What I also would have done, rather than what I think would have made, even if they hadn't changed any of this, maybe, I wouldn't have shown us what Rand heard that way if they didn't want to tell us he was the dragon.
They could have just
I think
admitted
the reveal, the montage, the reveal, even the placement could have worked so much better if instead of positioning us as Rand in that moment, which the show did by Rand shooting arrows, now we're in Rand's head going through flashbacks. If we were Moraine, we hear knock on door. Who is it? Who's at my door in the middle of the night? Rand? And then Rand is like, I'm the dragon. And then we get the flashbacks as he's explaining to Moraine why he thinks that. And I think that would have been better because Moraine didn't have that information.
Yeah, and we get that moment of like, I've been here before and all of this stuff. And so that's because he has some like weird memories of the last dragon. Is that how he's been there before?
That mountain was made by the last dragon. And I think you'll probably get more information.
Yeah,
I
the
think you'll get
volcano.
information about that next episode.
You will.
Okay, so I kind of nailed. Well, no, I didn't say that but I did say that there was something that was going to happen. The volcano was a Chekhov's gun, the smoking volcano.
Mhm.
So I'm
I also would have
excited.
kept the fever dream in episode 1. I think it was weird not to, and I think, Vic, would you have liked Rand better throughout the season if you'd seen him desperately carrying his dying father through the woods that night rather than just showing up after everyone else was traumatized?
And his
Yeah,
dying
for
father
sure.
is rambling, incoherently, deliriously saying things about like, I found a baby. Not my son. I brought the baby home.
I would have liked Rand in general more had I had literally any other information about them. If they would have parceled out literally any of this information, I feel like I would have liked him better. My biggest beef with Rand is I knew nothing about him other than he was trying to hold Egwene back from doing things that she wanted to do. That literally was the only introduction in the show that I had to this character. Like I said, this episode, all of a sudden, we're getting more information. And as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw Rand's mom at the beginning of the episode, or who I assumed was Rand's mom, I was like, okay, this is fascinating. I now have something to hold on to for this character. And that sacrifice automatically makes this character a much more likable, relatable character. Like having somebody that we can see somebody loves them is more interesting to me. And I get that we have Rand's dad, but it was different. Like it didn't feel the same. Whereas like
Because we didn't see the struggle. So in the books, Vic, we don't see the attack on the town. We don't see the Trollocs attacking the town and Moraine fighting them. We're with Rand. We're only with Rand as his father is dying and rambling nonsense about finding a baby in the snow, and like Rand is like desperately trying to get to town before his dad dies and telling himself the whole time like Nynaeve can save him. Nynaeve can save him. It's just a very different experience.
Okay, that's really interesting. But I mean, like, also, too, as soon as we saw Rand's mother this episode, I was like, oh, yeah, Rand's the dragon for sure. Like, that like, I had suspected it throughout the whole show because it's that kind of thing of, like, they'd waited so long to parcel out his story that I was like...
Yeah. I agree. He didn't have anything really to do in episodes 1 through 6. Although, to be a little bit fair, somebody did the data of who has the most lines in every episode, and by far Rand has the most screen time and the most lines.
But I think
did they do lines as well? It was the first 3 episodes only, I think.
Oh, it was only the first 3. I thought it was all 6. But no, he wasn't given any save the cat moments. He wasn't given any likable moments where we could see his true character. And so that made it kind of obvious that we are going to get it later when he's revealed to be the Dragon Reborn.
I agree. I like knowing, because then, maybe we get a little bit more out of this character, and it was them not wanting to like spoil this twist. But I don't know. It really, to me, I don't know. It really is so interesting because I think that is part of why I dislike this character so much up top, is because that makes sense that he had the most screen time and the most lines, because it just made me feel like he had so little to do with anything. And he just constantly felt like he was there for no reason. And I'm just like, go somewhere, do something, say something. Like, I don't know. But this is interesting and gives this character more agency to themselves, I think. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah.
On the Black Wind, so people are defending your point, Mary Lou. Okay, if they wanted to keep it that way, here's what they should have done. Not have scene by scene by scene Black Wind telling every single character, like with precision, the thing that will hit them in their heart clearly. Have each character hear a montage of insecurities, and maybe like we are clued in on one, like you killed your wife, you love Egwene, you're a wolf, like all these things with Perrin. And with Rand, we could have had a mixture. And then when we do the flashback, rather than just, what it was really saying the whole time was you're the dragon, have like, Egwene will never love you, you've abandoned Matt, you're the dragon. And then like we get
I agree.
I like that too. I think that works.
That's what I would have done.
That works better for me. Or honestly, literally all it takes is doing a 4-shot with all of them with their hands like covering their ears and just hearing
and
it.
having them say, "You're the dragon. You know it. You're really the dragon." That would have been, and that would have been so easy too. All 4 of them in the shot, and the voice we hear is like, "You knew all along. You're the dragon. You knew all along."
And then for that flashback, we just get that tight. You know what I mean?
Would have been great.
Yeah.
So what I
And
will
who
say
knows
about
what
all
the
of
script
this,
was? Sorry.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
What I will say is that like I don't think the show did a bad job. Do I think it could have been better with the things that we just said? Yes, I agree. It would have been less
Oh yeah.
manipulative. I think it would have been more evocative and emotional, but I think this is just following like sort of boilerplate television, right? Where they
For
had
sure.
to do this twist, and like at the end of the day it's Amazon and they needed a big twist.
The
And I think
reason
this is how
it
They
they
like
did it.
needed a big
And they did pretty
twist.
good. I think they did pretty good for having to put this like big twist in it.
no, you're 100% right. It's like the reason it's just something that gets my hackles up
Bless you,
as
Vic.
much as it does.
Thank you.
If I were watching this show, like if it weren't based on books, if this were an original show and I were watching it, I would have been like, okay, kind of lame.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they actively made the choice to inject mystery where it wasn't,
Mhm.
force build up to a reveal moment that didn't need to be there, and then failed to deliver. That
Mhm.
bothered me. Like if you're gonna make that choice, you have to deliver. The Rand reveal has to be gold, and I just felt like I just in retrospect still don't understand why they did the choice because I kept being like, okay, maybe the mystery's going to pay off. Maybe it's going to pay off. I understand from your point, Mary Lou, from the studio
I
perspective,
think it
from the
paid off
needing a
for
mystery
a
to rope
lot
in
of people.
viewers.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it did
maybe it
pay
did.
off for a lot of people, but just didn't pay off for
Yeah,
us.
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
that's
As
fair.
somebody that like hasn't watched, obviously, like read any of it, and I'm watching it for the first time, and coming from the perspective of like I'm invested in the show. I really,
Yeah.
really love the show, and I love the world, and I'm like really enjoying exploring it and like getting to know all these intricacies. I didn't feel like this paid off in the same way. Like it didn't. I don't know. I would have been way happier had they like been like, I don't know. And I get what you're saying
Treated
with them
Rand
needing a
and
twist,
yeah.
but I don't know. Like I almost feel like I would have had more fun. I think what would have been way more satisfying is had we been like, I know, yeah, that's great. I like, and this is not to contradict people that, liked it, but for me, I would have way rather have had more clues that Rand was going to be the dragon
Yeah.
reborn, had
Yeah,
it been a
agreed.
little bit clearer, and then have
Yeah.
that scene where they're fighting, or have that scene where they're like talking about it, being like, Rand, we are not letting you do this. We're not letting you do this alone. You're not going, like all of this stuff. And
Mm.
then, have him make this like selfless decision to like go despite, making this plan, or like betraying his like friend's trust because they all decide they're going to stick with it together to like go by himself. Like
Yeah.
having a moment like that, I think
Yeah.
for me would have been a bigger payoff like emotionally for what they were doing than like a twist that just because
Yeah.
that moment made me so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
As
But
for
I don't
totally
know.
get
I
it.
don't hate it. I don't hate it.
A lot of issues that I've had with the show are not even so much the choices, just in the space that they've had to like
Yeah.
make them. And I do hope next season, like I wish I was okay with the 8 episodes because I actually liked the way they broke the story up into 8 little arcs as they did. I just wish
Yeah.
each episode had 10 to 30 minutes more to explore each arc.
Yeah.
I really thought each episode was like, as so far has been like very full. Like even this episode
Very
having that
good.
like one moment of the twist. I'm also somebody where like I think I can enjoy the journey despite like twists. It's why like rereading stuff is so fun, where it's like you miss things and you
Yes.
like the journey.
I think this show, the whole season, has a very high rewatchability
Oh
factor.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that moment. So you knew Rand was the dragon, you said. And
Mhm.
you've been predicting it from the beginning because he was the handsome white guy.
He's the handsome white guy.
Whatever.
He's so handsome.
Did you, as these flashbacks happened, how did you feel like the revelation of oh, he was channeling when he knocked down that door before? Or
Yeah. All of that was definitely interesting to me, and that was part of it that I didn't see coming. And he's got the white pixie dust around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
But he also has black magic here.
He also
Does
has the
he?
black. Yeah.
The same as Logain.
The corruption.
Oh no! So he
All male
is
channelers have the corruption.
even the dragon. But I guess that
Even
is
the
that
dragon.
idea of like it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. And even in these moments, it's like we don't know. Okay, I didn't see that. I love that. But yeah, it was that moment of being like, oh, it was Rand, and that makes so much more sense. And it definitely redeems Egwene for me in these moments where I was like, oh, it wasn't her. It wasn't her.
It wasn't
Yeah.
her. And he didn't even know he was channeling, right? It's
He
my
had no
opinion.
idea.
It's my
Oh,
opinion that
couldn't
he
have,
had
right?
absolutely no idea he was channeling.
Yeah, I think so too. But can people sense it? Is it sort of like Arcane, where it's like there's people around that can like sense that like something is
So,
magical or there's a magical being?
It's something you gain the ability to do as
After
you have
working
more
with it.
experience with it. The first few times people channel, especially if they're a wilder, like they're learning on their own, they don't necessarily know what they're doing at first.
Gotcha.
But so yeah, I think in this scene, Rand didn't know what he was doing. And I do think, though, in this scene, he probably knew he was channeling.
Oh, that makes me upset
Oh,
then
I
that he
don't
let
think
her
so.
take the fall.
I don't think he
Well,
knew.
I think he just felt like he was doing something, because you see his face afterwards in the scene when in this flashback moment where he's like, "The fuck did I just do?"
Mhm.
Oh,
That's how
yeah,
I
that's
read it, at
true.
least.
Or yeah,
And I
like
think, like-
something felt weird.
Yeah.
I think it's this scene where he gets the hint that he can channel,
Mhm.
and then that's why he can go back in retrospect to the door before and be like, "Oh, that's what that was."
Mhm.
Oh,
That's. I
interesting.
mean, there's no right or wrong answer here. Like, I mean, there is. I guess you'd have to ask Rafe. But
That is interesting though. I like that. I like that a lot.
And then he goes to see Min.
Well,
he
first
goes
off,
to see Min.
he's pulling bullseyes now.
Pulling
Oh, he's pulling
bullseyes.
bullseyes now,
Totally
yeah.
pulling bullseyes.
Pulling
Which is like, I
bullseyes.
love that that's the show being like, he's right now. Now he's correct. Yeah, he's correct.
Now
Yeah, bullseye.
he's all there.
He's literally bullseye, literally spot on. Like,
He's right
you
on
got
target.
it.
He
is
goes
the
to
dragon.
Min. He goes to Min and he looks him dead in the eyes and is like, Min, tell me freaking everything. And Min's like, dude, you don't want to know. And Rand's like, no, dude, I literally have to know. And so then they're like, fine, what do you want? What do you want me to say? You're the dragon. You're the dragon. Congrats. Like, it's you.
Okay.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
super him. Definitely him.
Yeah.
But it's interesting why they lied to Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, she absolutely lied. They lied to Moiraine.
It's just
which I love. I love that. I love that.
Me too. Very much like I'm doing my own thing. And again, it once again goes to prove that like I said, I sort of have their own little agenda and people are mistrusting. And I think people have a right to be distrustful.
Absolutely. Yeah, or maybe Min knew that Rand would be back and, you know, she didn't feel like telling somebody else's secret, you know, until he knew himself. And so that's why they like kept this secret. Which I love. Either way, I love.
Yeah, that's either way, I love it. I think that they're a good person. So then what happens? Did they have any more information other than that? They did, didn't they?
Yeah, Min shares the story about, you know, when I was a kid in Tarvalin, I saw this guy with a heron-marked blade. And
she said that was her first vision, right?
It was Min's first vision, and they saw all this. And then we get cut back to flashback from earlier, where we see the baby actually born.
Yeah, get a freaking coat on that little guy. Too cold for the air. And
that's the first reveal that was Tam, right? Like we knew it all along, but like this is our first visual confirmation that this is Tam and he has the baby.
Except for the fact that we have not seen him since the first episode. And so the only reason that I knew it was him was just because I thought that was Rand, but I did not recognize this man at all.
No way. No, I didn't either. I knew it was Tam because I knew it was Tam, but yeah, no, I could not have.
The CGI of his face is like very weird, very uncanny.
Yeah.
I would have just done another actor or done the same actor and left him looking old. I don't care.
Yeah, who cares? I probably also would have just had the same actor and left him exactly as is and then just been like, yeah, I don't know. He's got a good skincare routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe like color his hair brown, but that's it. Don't give him the longer Dear Evan Hansen wig. Like it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. But nonetheless, we so then takes Papa gets the baby. His mom dies immediately. So sad.
sad.
Then what happens from there? So this is the first time that he realizes he's adopted too, right?
Well, he's suspected with his father's fever, ramblings, delirium, but now he knows. Now he knows for sure the circumstances of his birth.
And that's like a huge
leaves.
thing for him in the
Yeah,
books
of
that he's going
course.
through. The whole
It's
time in the
big,
first
the whole
book,
time.
he's like, "What did my dad mean? What did he mean he found a baby?" He's like, "He's my dad.
He's my dad. He's my father."
No,
and
he's
then
my
people will
dad.
be like, Tam, and he'll be like, "My father Tam."
Yeah,
My
and then like
father.
the sword.
People are like,
The sword is the
love that.
and he's like, "That's
the
my
only
father's
connection
sword.
he has. Yeah,
My sword. It's the one
anytime
that my father gave me."
people are always trying to take the sword from him, and he's like, "That's my father's sword.
Yeah.
My father. My father.
Papa's sword.
My papa's
Do not
sword.
touch my papa's sword.
Yeah.
So pretty intense in the books that he's like really struggling. Honestly, in the first book, more with the fact that he might be adopted and that his dad isn't his real dad than he might be the dragon.
Of course. Like, that's so massive. I don't
Yeah.
know. Also,
Yeah.
too, like, could Tam not have just been like, hey, like, families are built in different ways, and like, you I found on a battlefield, and and I'm raising you, and I love you, and I'm going to teach you everything I know, and I still love you no matter what, but this is what I know about, like, your birth family. Like, I don't know, could he not have done something like that? Was there some sort of
the Aiel were like not well regarded because they killed a super ton of people. So definitely. And then his wife, whom we never met, who died when Rand was a child, who Rand thought was his mother, she had always wanted a child and could never give birth. And so when Tam found this baby, Papa came home and was like, "I have a baby," and she was like, "This is my baby."
Yeah.
Of course, it's complicated.
Of course, I can't even imagine. It's it's got to be so tough. Of course, that's like the main thing that he's thinking about. Like but honestly, again, that's like another thing. Like, I would have loved to have seen that throughout the show. That would have like.
I know. I agree.
I
agree
really
with
wish
you
you'd
on
been
that
able
one.
to.
I do wish that we had that conflict of Rand finding out that his parents aren't his birth parents. I do wish we had that from the very beginning. It would have made the twist less twisty, which is why they didn't do it. And so I see why. I just don't agree with it, right? Like,
but
I
again,
just don't give a fuck about twist power. I don't like twists as a narrative mechanism personally.
I know.
Like, to me, always, I think like the strength of relationships and those like relationship moments are always going to be so much stronger than any twist. And I think people like think they want the twist, but it'll be a twist for people that aren't paying attention. Because if you're paying even a little bit of attention, you probably figured out that Rand was the dragon anyway.
Already.
So so much stronger to have his friends fighting over letting him go by himself and then him like making this heartbreaking decision to save them and to leave without them, and then them having to deal with the consequences of that. Like, I don't know. I think that and I know that's not the book, so they wouldn't have done it like that anyway. But like, that to me feels like a much stronger, like, if they're going to change it for TV,
technically not
change
a twist,
it for
but
TV.
mystery, whatever.
A mystery.
Yeah.
A mystery.
But okay, so then he goes back to the palace, and we
get this
this
scene with
awkward morning
these
after.
three.
Oh gosh, where she's like, where were you? And Nynaeve was like, please, absolutely none of your business. More than fair. And then we get Perrin in here, and Perrin's like, so about yesterday, and everybody's like,
awkward.
For the love of God, let us not talk about it. And then they're like, where is Randall? And
but we just got a knock at the door, Vic, and we saw Rand knocking on the door. Is that Rand?
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's freaking Lan, who's like, where is Rosamund Pike? We then like smash cut to Randall knocking on Rosamund Pike's door, being like, lady, we gotta freaking book it out of here. To the Blight we go. I'm the dragon. Let's get on my back, and we are flying. So they book it to the Blight to go see our guy. What's his name again?
Fire Ghost?
No.
Oh, no, Shaitan.
Shaitan. They're like, we
Shinola.
gotta
Shinola.
Shinola. We gotta go meet our guy. We got a date with Destiny. Let's freaking kick up some dust and get out of here. So they do. They go through this crazy looking forest. They're like, here we go. This is the beginning of the end.
They're in it. What did you think about the Blight? The way it looks, the way it felt?
I, from a distance, was like, how are they going to fit in there? I was like, there's no way it's tall enough. I thought they were going to have to like crouch and crawl under it. It didn't.
That's what I thought too.
It didn't look tall enough.
That's what I thought. It didn't look tall enough for them to walk under, but then they very clearly are. So, but
yeah, but it's also like so tight packed. I was like, how does anything live in there? I was worried.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is in theory where the Trollocs live.
In there?
Mhm.
In the Blight.
Oh,
they come from the Blight.
No wonder they're so sad.
It's not a great place to live.
They try to leave the Blight. Anytime they try to leave the Blight, people poke them with sticks until they go back in.
That's honestly it. They're just looking for a better place to live. Because honestly, remember you said that the Blight overtook a bunch of places?
Babs,
Babs,
thank you,
Babs,
for the skull in the
skull,
tree.
right.
For the skull in the tree.
Yeah,
it feels like Ben says it's a radiation zone. Yeah, this feels very like a little Chernobyl-ish, like Chernobyl forest. It's a little gnarly.
Yeah, I thank you, Pros Dragon. I appreciate that. I genuinely do think, because we just got this knowledge that the Blight is like encroaching and taking over places. So how do we know that the Trollocs weren't living in some sort of like beautiful little Trolloc haven, and then it freaking, got taken over? I don't know.
Totally.
Just my thought.
It's possible. It's possible.
I just think we need to maybe think about the Trollocs. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so they walk into the Blight and that's it. What do you think is going to happen next?
Great cue. I think, obviously, I don't think we can have this final battle, because otherwise, what would we do for 8 seasons? But I think it's like nice that we're getting to see the Expanse. We're going to see what we're up against, I think. And then something is going to happen where we then have to go and start over. But I think it's going to be too late. I think the group is going to be fractured and it's going to be freaking peeved at both Rosamund Pike and Rand.
Yeah. And
then
now
where's
everybody,
Matt?
it is that time of the day. We're getting Vic's predictions for next episode, which means it's also time for you to start
predictions.
putting your questions for Vic in the chat. So if you have any questions for Vic, put them in the chat. And Vic, so yeah, you've made your prediction. What do you think they'll find out on the other side of this thicket?
I think that we're gonna find Padme eating an apple is like just like sitting there being like, took you long enough, and then getting something there to be like, you thought it was gonna be that easy? I've been watching you for freaking years. I knew it was you. Like, you freaking little idiot. Like, you're so dumb. You little dum-dum, you baby.
You little dumb baby.
So
it feels very on brand for Padme.
I think it'd be an interesting choice. I do think that we're going to get to see something, and I think we're going to find out that Rand is like not strong enough or doesn't have like the pieces that he needs. And I do think that somehow we're going to reunite the group, and we need like whatever their whatever their special abilities are. We're going to need those, and I think it's going to be tougher to get the band back together than we think.
Yeah. I like those predictions. And Vic, overall rating of this episode out of, 49.
Out of 49? Okay, this is tough. I'm going to say a 42.
Nice.
42 out of 49. Not bad.
42 out of 49. I really like this episode. There were a couple things that I was like, but I overall, once again, like really rich. There was so much stuff in this episode that I really, really loved. And I'm really excited to see how they're gonna wrap up this season.
Yeah, I'm more excited for this episode than any other episode of television I've ever watched. So yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be.
I can't believe it's over. Almost one more episode.
I know, and we're gonna have to wait like another year in between for season 2.
It's too long.
Yeah,
frustrating.
But we got some great questions for you in the chat now.
Got some great questions in the chat. Mary Lou, are you still alive?
I am still alive. Yes, I'm slowly sinking in my chair.
Okay.
I am
Remy,
going to need
good
to nap
morning.
soon. Thank you, Remy. Here, I'll
Yes.
lower this so it'll be at my height now. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's very sunny.
Fantastic.
Okay,
I'm glad
maybe
that you're
not.
still alive.
Yeah,
Of
I am still alive
course.
for now. Here,
I'm
I'll
in
do this.
Vancouver, and you can see, like, if you watch throughout the stream, you can see the sun go down. It's like 3:17, and it's like getting very dark outside.
Sunset.
But it's just like my room is getting
Before we
darker
get to
and
these
darker.
questions, though, let me just really quickly, as rapidly as I can, thank all of our patrons who are
Patrons.
Babs, Ash, Back That Ass Up, Natalie McCartney, Paige Smith, Balance Gaming, Catherine Fink, Mr. Stovier, KD, we got Lee P, we got Tylith, we got Madeline Trotter, she's on the list, we got Athene Yo, we got Troy Say Care, Bryant, yeah, he's here as well, we got Detective Mosley, Ian Stark, Hybrid Havoc, and that's just the start, we got Kitty Cat and Fudgy VMP, Axie, Boggy, Too Much Food, we got Arrow, we got Pasut, Roland, got Cat G, we got DES, Marissa Swank.
Oh,
All
baby.
of you.
Love that
Love it.
song getting
Thanks.
longer and longer. It makes
Getting
me
longer
so
and longer every day.
happy, and
You
it never
you wanna
ceases
be
to.
in the song? If you want to be in the song, not you, Vic.
Oh,
You can't
I was
be.
like,
If
yeah,
you
I
want
want
to
to
be in the song, then you gotta join our Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
I'll just do it. It never ceases to not make me laugh when I wait, no. It never ceases to make me laugh when you get to Brian. Just Brian.
Brian.
everybody's got all these screen names, and then it's Brian.
I love that. That's great. Okay, we
Yes.
got a lot of good questions.
Okay. Let's do these questions.
Here we go.
Question. Oh shit! Wow, there's so many. Okay.
Some
We
of them we
got-
already talked about, people. So
Some we already talked about. If we already talked about it, I'm gonna skip it.
just skip it.
And if it's a spoiler, I'm gonna skip it. And if I don't want to ask it, I'm gonna skip it. But it's not meant out of disrespect to you.
Yes,
No bad questions.
Okay.
All good questions.
very much so.
Yes. Ian Stark asks, Vic, who will die at the Eye of the World?
Oh, great question. I think
Diljit,
Lan
thank you
is.
so much.
Thank you, Diljit.
Oh, thank you, Diljit. Okay. I do think that Lan is going to die at the Eye of the World. I don't know why. I really do think that he's somebody whose story is kind of wrapped. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't, like, we've seen him with his family. He got to be with Nynaeve. And we've also like really hinted at this idea of like breaking this Warder Aes Sedai bond and what that looks like. And like, I really think he, as much as I love Lan, he is the character that also I think holds a lot of our hearts. So it would be an easy character to be like snip, snip. And it also would, like, the story wouldn't have too many loose ends from him either, from him being gone. So other than the emotional fallout.
Mary Lou,
What?
chat. Can I read
No.
the line?
No.
I can't read the line.
No.
What line?
There is a line that Lan
What
says
about what
in
if
the
it
Eye
doesn't
of the
happen
World.
next episode?
Then yes. If it doesn't happen this season, then yes.
Okay. It's just a line that it really
We
is like
love.
it's not plot relevant. It's just like poetry. I love it so much.
It's gorgeous. It's like the best line in the whole series.
If you don't hear it next episode, I will read it for you.
Okay. Absolutely.
So, Vic, Jonathan wants to know, what do you think happened to L'Oreal? And a few people want to know. Where did L'Oreal
yeah.
go?
Where did he go?
Good question. Also, excellent and fascinating choice of Pokemon for Avatar. That's one of the newer ones, right?
Very much so.
From Pokemon Go. Okay. That's such a good question. I wonder if L'Oreal went ahead. Like, it seems to be sort of like his thing where he's like, I kind of go wherever I want and I do whatever I want. And so I wonder if there's a world where he maybe went back through the way, or maybe he never left and continue, because if that's like his home turf, and it seems like there's not a lot that people can do to him, my guess is maybe we're going to see him at the Eye of the World.
Okay.
That would be cool.
I like it.
Love
Vic,
that answer.
You've already told us who the baby Rand was holding in Min's vision was. Do you think it is Rand?
I think it is Rand. I don't
Vic.
think Rand's going to have a kid unless like the kid was conceived literally last night, which I guess maybe be kind of interesting, but then all of a sudden would like sort of like, you know, mess with everybody's plans. Could be interesting. Okay, but I do think it's Rand.
Would you consider doing a rewatch during the off season?
Yeah, absolutely. I am definitely planning on it already. I feel like there's so many little things that I have missed. And also too, I like rewatching once I sort of know
the mystery. Yeah.
To sort of see things that I missed. And especially as I know more information, because I feel like I've already rewatched the first 2 episodes with to get my family caught.
Thanks for the donation.
Thank you, Dresden Sadai.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would really love to talk to you going back through the season, especially knowing the actual reveal about Rand.
Yeah.
And seeing how everything ends up.
I would, I'd love to, especially now knowing what I know, I would love to go back and rewatch the first few episodes again, because I rewatched them like immediately after I saw them to catch my family up, because my brother really is into stuff like this, and he was in town, and so we like were watching them together, and I even feel like I got more on the second watch there, but now knowing what we know, I would love to go back. Long answer to say, yes, I would definitely.
Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch.
I'd love to be able to stream ourselves doing like actual live reactions to the episodes.
That would be great if we could get that down, like that.
Amazon, let's talk.
Come on, Amazon.
I have some thoughts on how we could do it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, Vic, do you know what the AOL is?
Yeah. Atlas of Lore. Atlas of Lore. Avalanche.
No, it's the Age of Legends.
Do you know what the Age of Legends is?
Yes. Next question.
Okay.
I'm thinking the Age of Legends was maybe like around when the first, like my guess would be when like prior to the first dragon being around, maybe, and that would be like that
You're
time.
Correct.
Oh, great. Yeah, when there's because also too, like, I don't know, it's I would imagine that when there was like men sorcerers, and when people are thinking back on there, they're like the Age of Legends. That's when real sorcerers were around.
It's true. Yeah. And the Age of Legends is before the taint, was before the breaking of the world. Sorry, the corruption, not the taint. And it was awesome.
We call it the taint on this channel. When the dragon broke the world, that was the end of the Age of Legends.
Gotcha. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. You know, it's people being like,
Madeline wants to know.
Heard of him?
Which of Jade Kaz, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jade Kaz.
Thank you, Jade Kaz.
Madeline Trotter wants to know which of Min's visions were lies and which were truths.
I was not sure that was an option. I
don't think anything this show shows us can be a lie, but things Min tells other characters that we don't have direct confirmation of from Min's eyes, they could be lying.
I mean, like, is there going to be?
I guess is the idea.
Is there going to end up being this massive twist where like Rand is not actually the dragon? Like that. Now I'm second guessing myself, because now I'm like, we have 8 seasons of this. So I'm like, and they just let us know now, which I like the idea. I'd rather know and then see where it goes. Like, we know Frodo's got the ring, you know, right up top, episode 1.
Yeah.
And the interesting part is like, what do we do with it? How does this change his character? Can he go on? You know what I mean? Like, I would rather see that struggle. Yes, and see the people around him, how that changes the way they interact with him and you know, him as a person. Anyways, what was the question?
Were there any of Min's visions that you thought might be lies?
So I think Rand with the baby was like a half truth, because I think that was foreshadowing to I think it was this idea of like Rand holding himself, and then we get the full idea later, which is
We'll know the context of that vision later, maybe.
yeah, which is I think the context of the vision seems to be that Rand is like as a baby like was found by his father, and then I thought that was my interpretation, but honestly maybe it's something messier than that. Then we got the one of the women being an Aes Sedai, and I think that was like a real omission.
Did you catch what the other thing was? She mentioned Min mentions two things to Moraine there.
The ring.
Yeah. Thank you,
Mhm.
Mintastic. Speak of the devil.
Thank you,
Speak of the devil.
Mintastic. Yeah, so Min says a gold ring, and she says something else.
And she says an Aes Sedai, right?
She does not.
She doesn't.
What does she say?
They say
She says a white flame. They see a white flame and a gold ring.
Okay, so I like that. To me means that I think one of them is going to become an Aes Sedai and one of them is going to break bad. I still really think that that's it. Like the white flame being like some sort of like, because we see when Nynaeve channels, it's like that like white blue light, and I'm just like, it really makes me think that it's going to be something like that, where it's like that white fire, where it's like hot and kind of uncontrollable. Darth 22 Castle. Welcome.
Thank you.
But I really am thinking that it's going to be something like that.
Great. Vic,
Possible.
who's your least favorite character at the moment?
It really is tough. It's tough. I'm going to say Matt because he wasn't here.
Okay.
Fair.
Easy answer.
Ditched the group.
He ditched them. Yeah, he's
and
my
then everybody was just
right
like,
too.
and everybody was just like, yeah, and Matt's not the dragon, so don't worry about him not being here. It's fine. Like it really is fine. And then also we're gonna send the Reds on him, so like good luck with all of that.
Good luck with all that, bitch.
Vic, what is the eye of the world?
A lighthouse.
Okay.
I don't know why. I've always pictured it being some sort of a lighthouse or a telescope.
I love that. A lighthouse or a telescope.
But
that's awesome.
Didn't they mention it was a prison?
Yes. Well, Swan says that the Dark One, that is the location of the Dark One's prison.
Oh, I see. So also the eye of the world could be just like a hole to the Earth's core or something like that, and then it's like a hole to the world, and then maybe that's where they're holding what's our Dark One's name again? Shaitan. I'm wondering.
In the books, they really do just call it the Dark One.
But I wanna call.
You want to be
Shaitan.
Call him by his first name.
I just like the name Shaitan too. I think it's cute.
I named my daughter Shaitan, so.
Oh, I love
gorgeous.
that.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really.
It's a gorgeous name. Beautiful name.
Beautiful name.
So I'm also just wondering if what was I saying? It's gone, and that's okay. Honestly, some things aren't meant to be held on to. Sometimes Vic, you don't completely.
Yeah, let it go. It must not have been that important.
Give us a scene painting. We're in the age of legends. Go.
Mm-hmm. What does it look like?
Robes, but there's no sleeves or TL976. Thank you. No sleeves.
No sleeves.
Guns, like thick arms.
Thick arms.
And it's like, but slim wrists because everybody is channeling all the time. Ooh. And it's just like, it's a real everybody's strutting around. There's magic for food, people are just like, hey, you busy tomorrow? And so people are like, no. And they're like, you want to go to the beach? And then they freaking fly to the beach on a magic wind that they build themselves. It's just like, it's freaking epic. It's so fun. Magic solves everything. Michael Maxwell, welcome. But I just think it's something like that where it's like, I think it's the kind of thing where people look back and they're like, it was paradise. And now we're stuck with these freaking Aes Sedai who we can't even trust. What brings us back to the Age of Legends.
Yeah.
As was pointed out appropriately in the chat, should YouTube members also be in the song?
Yes. We will add them
So,
to the song.
Yes.
Boggy. We got Dark One's Taint, Valeria Concha, and LG. And of course, you know she's the best son, the original Beth Weston.
That's right.
That was fantastic. And that is a
Thank
great
you.
point. YouTube subscribers should absolutely be in the song.
Definitely. Definitely.
We're still going. Okay. Stuff's happening. Okay. We're going. No. Read it. No. Okay, that was me
Honestly, I
asking
think
if I
that
could
was a
read
pretty
you the
good one to
line.
end it on.
Not a bad one. Yeah. I think that might be it.
Okay. Are
be
you
it.
sure?
I'm not positive. I'm looking through all of the
There were a lot of questions for you today, Vic.
I see. Well, thank you everybody so much for asking questions.
Definitely.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Well, you might
Vic.
see us tomorrow. All three of us. We will be having our charity stream tomorrow, starting at 6 a.m. PST. There will be music. There will be comedy. There will be
You can be too.
a sitcom version of the Eye of the World in which Vic and Shaitan are BFFs, just trying to make it. Maybe they have a cupcake business.
Yeah, we got a
y'all-
cupcake business.
Here's
and
the
they're
thing, though,
working really hard.
everyone. It's very important to remember. I really don't like everyone just sitting here accusing my friend of being a dark pal.
Right.
Vic,
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry
Sarah.
that you have to sit through this. And if you two want to support Vic and you're against the biased, baseless accusations
Slander.
of dark friendery that some people are throwing around, you
Really.
can purchase a Vic is not a dark pal shirt on our Redbubble store. You could buy
I
it
love that.
today. The shirt could be yours. So
Not a dark friend.
Vic is not a dark
friend.
pal.
Okay.
Okay, but honestly, here's what chafes me a little bit is the fact that this stuff makes it seem like I am a dark pal, and I'm not a dark pal.
So.
Vic,
I don't
no,
think
Vic,
so.
it's
It
very
really
clearly-
specifically says that you're not a dark pal.
It's carroted. It wasn't in the original copy.
It's highlighted. It's in
highlighted.
color.
It's
There's
emphatic.
an arrow saying
It's-
this
the
is really
teacher
important.
looked at the sentence and said the sentence is not correct and had to add
Maybe
not.
we just disagree. Maybe we just disagree on that one.
Maybe
I
we
really
do.
I
disagree
get
on
the
that one.
impression from that shirt that you're not a dark pal.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
I want to at least meet Shaitan before I'm saying like, oh,
Before you judge him?
absolutely not.
You want to meet him
but
before you judge
also,
him, and I think that's fair.
more importantly,
Oh.
we do have a charity stream tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. PST. We will be going for 18 hours to raise money for the Trevor Project. Thank you so
Woo,
much to everyone
baby.
who's already allowed us to get such a fantastic start today. We've already raised, in our Trevor Project direct donations, we already raised over 1,200. We raised over 1,100
Oh.
just today.
I
So
can't
we're
believe it.
almost
Unreal.
halfway there. We
I
are
can't
almost
believe
halfway
it.
there.
It's such a good cause, and it's like so disheartening to see like literally all over the country, every single state, not every single state, but in most states, there's these like really horrific, specifically anti-trans bills that are being passed, and you just watch it and it's very easy to be like, there's nothing I can do. There absolutely is. You know,
Yeah.
even if it's not us, tomorrow, if it's not the Trevor Project, find an organization in your state and go get involved. Even if you can't donate monetarily, there's lots of things that all of those organizations need and ask for that don't require you to spend money if you can't right now.
Absolutely.
And like the absolute easiest way you can do it is to come watch us be a bunch of fucking knuckleheads tomorrow.
Hang out in the chat with us. It's not fun without you guys. So we are going to need you. We're going to need you in the chat.
People. We are raising money for the Trevor Project, which, as Vic says, is doing incredible work. They provide a suicide hotline for queer youth who need it, especially in the holiday season. Kids whose families have, refused to accept them can feel especially isolated. Thank you so much, Ian Stark.
Oh,
Ian
thank
Stark.
you,
And
Ian. I
Listen to
am a
Vic the
light
Light
pal.
Pal.
Thank you. I love that.
It's a really great cause. The volunteers there are all incredible and do fantastic work. But yeah, we'd love to see you. And if you just want to hang out, and if it's okay, like I understand not everyone's in a position to donate money right now, especially after the last 2 years. But just hanging out with us, keeping us going, keeping the energy
That
flowing
would be a
would be
huge
super
help.
helpful.
Yep, a huge help and
So
very much appreciated by us.
Yeah, come say
for us at least,
hi.
but yeah, come say hi. We'd love to see you. But until then, until tomorrow at 6 a.m. PST, have a wonderful rest of your day. In fact,
In fact,
have
have
a
a
really
really good rest of your
thank
day.
you, Mary
Thank
Lou.
you.
This has been Maidens of the Spear, where we talk about the Wheel of Time and we have a really good
A
time.
really good time.
Vic, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
People
Thank you
Vic.
for
can find you
having me.
Vic MMIC.
Oh yeah,
Vic
VIC
MMIC.
MMIC. Once again, I'm constantly tempted to give out my email, and I have to literally stop myself. And I feel like that's maybe giving away too much, so I need
I
to
love
stop saying that also.
Yeah, don't do that. And I'm at Mary Lou, Larry Moo, LARYMOU. See you on the internet.
I'm at Spear Maidens. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Bye.